It's been a while since we last saw the future stars of NASCAR.
Cole Custer, for the third time in his career, scores the win.
The California kid secured a spot in the playoffs. And now the Xfinity Series rides into Texas.
Texas Motor Speedway is the fastest track in NASCAR.
This place is ready for some serious speed.
It is blazing fast.
Texas Motor Speedway ain't no rodeo. This track is reckoned to throw you around.
Oh, big trouble.
Oh, that's big damage.
For these young wheelmen, today is all about staying intact as long as you can. And with every mile and a half, you will be challenged with sadistic speeds, treacherous terrain that can end your ride at any moment. Only one young cowboy can tame Texas. So strap in, hold on, and let it loose right here on FS1.
So the state of Texas is also known as the Lone Star State. It's a nickname that also applies to today's race because after 200 laps, 300 miles, there will be one Lone Star standing in victory lane. It's a Texas showdown between series regulars and a pair of cup drivers who certainly know their way to victory lane at this racetrack. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Race Hub studios. I'm Shannon Spake, Larry McReynolds, Jamie McMurray, my partners for the day. Howdy.
Howdy.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. Listen, when we're talking about Texas, Larry, if history repeats itself on this racetrack today, we could be in for a wild ride, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think I heard Brad Keselowski's voice as we came on the air, and I think it bears worth repeating. One of the fastest mile-and-a-half tracks we go to. It's very treacherous, and it's easy to get in trouble. Last night in the Truck Series race, we had 9 cautions. When we were there with the Xfinity Series last fall, 13 cautions. So the moral of the story, it may not be the fastest car that wins the race today. It may be the driver that can just avoid trouble.
Yeah, when I think about Texas, I think about how different the two ends are. When they reconfigured this a couple years ago, 3 and 4 has all the banking, which is a fairly easy corner. 1 and 2, though, is really flat, loose on entry. And I ran the Xfinity race last year here, and I remember you had to basically run wide open through 3 and 4 the entire fuel run if you were going to be one of the best cars. And it sounds easy because it has all the banking, and they talk about how much grip it has, but really challenging.
Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski are in this race today. Kyle starting 5th, Brad starting 10th. And normally when these two guys are in the field, especially at a place like Texas, we think it's going to be the Brad and Kyle show, but not so fast, this season, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at Cole Custer today. He won at Auto Club, legitimately beat Kyle Busch straight up, which was really fun for us to watch. He won this race last November, finished 4th last March. Cole Custer's on quite a run right now.
Yeah, you think about Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, 2 of the hottest drivers on the Cup Series circuit right now. I have my eye on 2 drivers, though. Tyler Reddick, qualified 3rd. He led a ton of laps in this race in November, got passed on the last lap by Cole Custer for the win. And then Christopher Bell. He's on the pole. He has a Truck Series win at Texas. He finished 2nd. I think all of these young guys, they're going to deal those 2 veterans a fit today.
Yeah, should be fun to watch.
And especially, like I said, with Kyle starting the closest of both of those and starting in 5th, it's going to be interesting. So we have one heck of a Texas tandem in the booth today with 5-time Texas winner Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon joining Adam Alexander. But everything's bigger in Texas, right? And the same with our play-by-play guy today, because he's actually the only one that's going to break down the facts for us. Adam Alexander out of Texas right now. Hey there, Adam.
Yeah, it's usually, as you said, a Texas trio here in the booth, but unfortunately, I'm a one-man band right now. My friends have left me. Austin Dillon and Kevin Harvick have wrapped up final practice. They'll be up in a moment, and we'll be talking about interesting facts like this. Drivers that delivered their first career victory at Texas Motor Speedway in the Xfinity Series, and there have been a handful of drivers in that category, among them Dale Earnhardt Jr., so did Chase Elliott in his rookie campaign. And while Eric Jones has not won an Xfinity championship or a Cup championship, he does have the big trophy in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. He, too, got his first victory here. It happened in 2015. So who's in that category today? Perhaps it's Eric Jones' teammate, Brandon Jones, who starts on the front row. Give a nod to Jeb Burton, who rolls off 6th. And maybe Austin Cindric. He's driving the 22 car for Team Penske. Oh, by the way, it won here a year ago with Ryan Blaney behind the wheel. It's going to be a great afternoon. Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon on their way to the booth. We'll see you shortly, Shannon.
Thank you, Adam. I think Adam stole some of your McNuggets there. What do you
I believe he looked in my book.
Yeah, he may have. He may have. It's going to be a great race. We'll send it out to you guys shortly. Thanks so much, Adam. So coming up, Ross Chastain is going to join us from the track to talk about his busy racing schedule this season. Plus, Christopher Bell, starting on the pole, is going to show us where he grew up racing. And later, I'm going to have this week's rodeo of Stump the Max. All this and more on race day. Giddy up.
The NASCAR circuit takes a physical toll on those who participate. A fearless few even choose to run multiple races per track. But only one driver has competed in all 16 series events this season. And his nickname isn't Rowdy.
Is he running all three? Who would do that?
If you watched a race in 2019, Ross Chastain was in it, amassing 2 top 5s and 7 top 10 finishes. Whether it's Gander Trucks, Xfinity Series, or chasing the Cup, this 26-year-old is reminding us that Kyle Busch isn't the only one pulling triple duty.
So not only has Ross Chastain competed in every race this season, he's finished the races. He has just one DNF across all 3 of the series, and that was last week at Martinsville. So we welcome Ross Chastain to the show, the busy guy this weekend and every weekend. Now, Ross, I know that you did this last season. You ran almost all of the races in both Xfinity and Cup. But how has this year been different for you?
Well, we had to pick ourselves up after the off season and just get right back on it and just try to keep moving and trying to make myself the best race car driver that I can be. And I feel like that's with laps, whether it's restarting next to Kyle in a truck race and figuring out he's restarting first, or restarting 33rd in a Cup race and learning how to not run into everybody on lap 1 at Martinsville. So I'm having a lot of things thrown at me these days, but I'm just trying to be a better race car driver.
Ross, it's super impressive, all the races that you've run this year, and I want to talk to you about the fatigue that your body goes through. When we think about you running all 3 races in a weekend, I feel like we just focus on the races, but practice day actually can be just as challenging, if not more, because you get out of one car and have to go climb in the next. So explain to us how you stay hydrated, how you get plenty of food, and just how you manage all that.
Yeah, well, I'm really working off your notebook from your years with Josh Wise in the back of CGR and everything with the Advent Health Studio back there. We, there's all kinds of noon hydration tablets now, and back there most days during the week working with Josh and just trying to push myself during the week so that the days at the track are a little bit easier. But you're right, Fridays and Saturdays are the hardest ones. Today's been pretty simple with the weather delays and stuff, but yesterday was busy, and just trying to make it where physically I don't have to think about it, but mentally is probably where I struggle the most, of remembering when I entered turn 1 here at Texas with a flat corner, how much throttle each race car is expecting for me to give it, so not to overstep my boundaries, because for the race teams I'm driving for, wrecking in practice, or really in general, is not an option. So the team owners are on me to not step over that line, and that's hard for me as a race car driver, but it's just the best way I can keep pushing myself. So mentally probably is what I struggle with the most.
Yeah, he told us during commercial break the biggest thing he's trying to work with at Texas is to stay warm this weekend. But Ross, your family are watermelon growers from South Florida. You're 26 years old. You did not start racing until you were 12. How do you go from growing watermelons to behind the seat of a race car or a race truck?
Yeah, well, there was actually a program called the Fast Truck Series, and Matt Martin ran the Fast Kid class, and I watched him race one night, and I just wanted to be like him. And so we got into it. My dad had done some hobby racing in the series, and I was able to get going in it. And it just snowballed out of control into limited late models at the World Series over at New Smyrna. We won that in 2011, and just wanted to take a good hard look at NASCAR to see if we thought it was an option. So, yeah, a lot of, people say, about me running all the races. races, but that's normal for us. Like, you just get up every morning and go fight and try to make the most. And thoughts become things, and try to think it all through and then execute. But it is kind of tough for me right now to be out racing and be smiling, because I do have some family back home with my grandparents that are fighting some of their own battles. So thinking about you guys, love y'all, and you know, be home soon for Easter. But right now we've got a job to do in this 4-car, and it's just trying to build it back with Swan Transportation coming on board. You know, it's really cool to bring new sponsors into the sport and try to build this 4-car back to where we were last year.
I already told you, Ross, I love that hat. So good luck today and good luck tomorrow. And thanks so much for taking some time for us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
I love what he said,
He said,
right?
ma'am.
I know.
He said, ma'am.
It's okay. It's a Southern thing, right? Except he's from Florida. It's all right. It's an age thing. He said wrecking is not an option. I think that was such an interesting statement that he made just about the cars he's in and the team and the pressure, right?
Well, and yeah, I mean, he's driving for some teams that don't have a lot of resources. But the one thing I will say about these drivers doing not double duty, but triple duty, and there are 4 of them at Texas this weekend. I go back to yesterday. They had no more than 5 or 10 minutes of downtime almost the entire day. That's no time whatsoever for debriefing. And I even go back to as good as Kyle Busch is back to Martinsville last week. He had to qualify his Cup car after the truck race. He even said in post-race, oh, I forgot I've got to qualify my Cup car. Yeah. I think it affected his qualifying effort. Now, the upside, if your driver goes out and wins in another series, he walks in that garage area with a little more bounce in his step, and he definitely has some confidence.
Yeah, those are the cons of being busy, right? So what are the pros of doing all of the races like Ross Chastain is?
So the obvious things are that you get to work on your line, you get to work on getting on and off pit road, all of the things that we talk about. But when I was listening to him talk, I was thinking about fitness. And Jimmy Johnson is the guy we talk about. He documents his Boston Marathon training, all the cycling he does. But we don't talk about a guy like Kyle Busch or Ross Chastain. That I think those guys getting to be in the car or truck so often, you get in racing shape. And no matter what trainer you have, if you're training to be in a race car, they try to duplicate the things that happen to your body in a car. There's nothing that you can do in a gym that is the same thing as being in a car.
You have the ball, ma'am.
I have the ball. I
yes,
have the water. Oh, yeah, I get it. They're so funny, aren't they? We just wait till Stump the Mac. We'll see who's laughing then. All right, when we come back, Christopher Bell is going to take Jamie Little to the other side of the Red River and his home track, Boomer Sooner, right here on FS1. So the Xfinity Series drivers took full advantage of their weekend off. Gray Galding now has a fish story to share. Fish, get it? Jeffrey Earnhardt went hunting. Justin Haley had proof that his best friend worked a lot like a dog at work, and that is not all.
Pretty low-key off weekend. Me and my girlfriend went up to Asheville, just hung out and relaxed a little bit. So I decided to go to Martinsville, watch the Truck Series race, have a good time, and enjoy not being, pressured into doing anything. I just was at the racetrack. I was there as a fan. I sat in the grandstands and just had a good time.
Yeah, some drivers take a beach vacation with their family. Dirt and his toes in the sand, and he brought our girl Jamie Little with him to Norman, Oklahoma, to show Jamie and the world where he's from. So how was Norman, Oklahoma with the hometown boy, Jamie?
It was so much fun to go back and just learn a little bit more about Christopher, because he is on the fast track to becoming NASCAR's next superstar, and he's proven he can win in anything he gets in, whether it's asphalt or dirt. So he asked us to come back home and see where it all began.
All right, Christopher, so where are we headed first?
So right now, we are heading to my childhood home where I grew up.
So what is famous about this area? What else is here besides Christopher Bell and his family?
More famous than me is the university, but whenever everyone says Norman, they think of football and Oklahoma University. So growing up here, I was a huge Sooners fan and kind of ate it up. Football and basketball. My dad coached high school basketball here in Oklahoma, so I still cheer for the Sooners whenever I get to watch them.
So what's racing like around these parts?
I grew up racing dirt tracks, and there's a lot of dirt tracks in Oklahoma, but there's no pavement racing. So I didn't really know much about NASCAR. It really wasn't on my radar until I saw Larson go from dirt tracks to pavement, and then I realized that there's an opportunity there.
So what was your goal as you were growing up? What series did you ultimately want to end up in?
Or I had probably the World of Outlaws circled, because that was the top of dirt track racing, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an outlaw racer. This is home right here. This neighborhood. Played football on that yard right there. This is it. This is it. Do you recognize me? I used to live there.
We're here at I-44 Riverside Speedway.
So this is my home racetrack, and obviously it has a special place in my heart because this was home. This is what I grew up doing. Really, NASCAR seemed out of the picture, like I wasn't going to be able to get there. And now it's pretty cool to be able to come back here and see all the kids, and I feel like they see that there's a chance, right? There's a chance to make it to NASCAR starting out here because it happened to me. All right, let's go race.
I know Jamie was able to get into that car as well when she went out to the dirt track. She said it was really cool to see him in his element. What most impresses you about Christopher Bell?
Well, he's 24 years old. He's only been racing asphalt for 6 years. And, of course, he started running super late models for Kyle Busch Motorsports. But speaking of Kyle Busch, I think under the radar, he is laying Kyle Busch numbers down. He has 46 starts in the Xfinity Series. He's won 9 times. That's 20%. It gets better. In his last 22 Xfinity Series races, he's won 7 times. That's over 30%. Those are Kyle Busch type of numbers.
Yeah, his attitude is what I'm most impressed with. When he got wrecked at Kansas last year and at Texas, and he knew he had to go to Phoenix and win in order to make it to Homestead, whoever was doing the interview at the Info Care Center, they asked him, like, how's this going to affect your championship hopes? I would be curious to see what Tony Stewart would have said in that position. But Christopher Bell looked at the camera and essentially was like, look, I've won 6 races this year. He goes, I got a chance to win 2 more. He has an amazing attitude, and I think that's helped him a lot.
He's having fun, right? You mentioned the Kyle Larson, and I mean, that's what he does too, right? He has fun when he's racing.
Yeah, and Christopher Bell reminds me so much of Kyle Larson. And when I did that interview last week with Kyle, we talked about how Brad and some of the other drivers said if they started a team, that Kyle Larson's who they would hire. So that's the biggest compliment you can give somebody like Christopher Bell.
Extremely talented, definitely. So while every driver wants to get the checkered flag, NASCAR Nation is about more than just winning races. Regan Smith is with Jeremy Clements and the story of a special fan.
Well, Jeremy Clements rolls off 17th today. This is a team that continues to improve as this year's been going on. You got some new equipment from Ganassi Racing. Tell us what you expect on the racetrack today.
Well, Texas is fast, man, but we've got a lot better repairablevehicles.com Chevy than 17th. We sped down pit road, which is a new rule. I didn't really even know about it, so we'll fix that problem. We didn't adjust the air pressure and get the car cooled down in time to make another run, but got a lot of speed, about like Xfinity Internet. I'm really looking forward to the race. Looks like the second groove came in cup practice, so should be an exciting race.
Tell me about your guests that you have here.
Yeah, we got Caleb Dorr from Western Wishes with Tuff Hedeman. Become good friends with Tuff, and he's here for his first race, and we're showing him a good time. He's going to get to ride around the pace car. Got to introduce the drivers meeting, so we're having a good time with everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Have a good day. Shannon?
Thank you so much, Regan. Still to come, our pit reporters are going to get us up to speed after the drivers' week off in the Xfinity Series. And I'm going to see which Mac I can stump the easiest today as we get ready to go racing on FS1. As we're getting closer to racing right now, you see Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon have made their way up into the broadcast booth. They're going to join Adam Alexander. But right now, our pit reporters are ready for their pit walk. Regan Smith is up first.
Well, Jeffrey Earnhardt down here on the grid, brand new race team. How excited are you for today?
I'm really excited. You know, we struggled in practice, but we got her dialed in. We'll be good for the race.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Jamie?
John Hunter Nemechek getting ready. His dad, front row Joe, over here. Your dad giving you some advice for today's cold race?
Not really. He's more being a dad today than a driver coach or anything else. So it's pretty neat to be here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And now he's not a team owner, he's a dad. So pretty cool to be able to take pictures with him and enjoy times like these.
Nice to see him down here. Regan?
Cold temps out here, Justin Haley. Is it going to be warm enough in that car for you today?
Yeah, the ride-arounds in the truck are super cold, so I'm trying to get back amped up, heated up, but we got a really fast leaf filter, got protection Chevrolet for today's race, and Texas is always one of my favorites, so we'll see how it pans out.
All right, thanks, buddy. Jamie?
Well, he's defending winner here in Texas. Also won the last race in Xfinity. How do you feel about your chances today?
We need to be a little bit better. I think everybody's going to be fairly equal because it's so cold out, but it's going to come down to restarts and pit road and track position. So I think if we can just try and keep that going, I think we have a good enough Jacob Cummings Mustang to stay out front. It's just getting up there.
All right, a lot of unknowns today, Shannon, but we're excited. It's going to be a cold one, but fun.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I wonder how the cold's going to affect the temperatures or the track out there in the race. Okay, time now to stump the Mac. You guys ready?
We're ready.
We took a weekend off, so I'm ready to go. All right, Grandpa, how many days in the month of March?
In the month of March?
Yes.
31.
Got it. I would have said 30 or 28. I don't even know. Jamie, the NCAA tournament begins in March. Just give me a rough estimate. How many brackets were projected to be filled out last year?
3,800.
170 million.
See, I was right there.
You were very close. $10.4 billion. That's
You're
a
getting
lot.
my questions from last week.
Larry, who had more total wins last season, Kyle Busch or the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys?
Last year?
Yep.
Kyle Busch.
It was actually a tie. The Cowboys had 10 regular season wins and 1 playoff win.
I don't think
Kyle
that's
Busch
fair.
had 8
That
cup.
wasn't-
Yeah,
one
you said
extra.
who had the most. How could a tie be somebody had the most?
You could have said tie.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
could have said tie. Jamie, last Cup champion to win at Texas, or the last Cup champion to come from Texas.
Terry Labonte.
It would be Bobby Labonte.
Labonte.
Yes, we'll discuss that with him tomorrow. How about that? That was in 2000. Do you know what town they're from? Quickly, do you know what town they're from?
Corpus Christi.
There you go. You guys both
She
win.
wasn't talking to you.
There you
She's
go.
talking to me.
Stump the Mac, Texas style. All right, it's time to go trackside for opening ceremonies at Texas Motor Speedway. Let's get you down there.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Bedford Police Department presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Brett Sisler with Texas Alliance Raceway Ministries offers today's invocation.
Would you please pray with me? Most loving and gracious God, we come to you this afternoon, Lord, and we thank you. We thank you for this day and this opportunity to come together and to pray to you as free people. Lord, we think about the men and women all over the world, not only far away but close by, who help to keep us safe. And we ask that you be with each and every one of them and protect them with your shield. Lord, we also come to you today and we ask for your safety. We ask that you be with each and every one of the drivers, with all of the crews, with all of the fire safety workers, with the fans, and with our world. And Lord, as we come to you today, we simply thank you for this day. Whether the weather is exactly what we want or not, we understand it is yours and it is good. So Lord, we simply come to you and we ask for your wisdom, your guidance, and your direction in each and everything we do. It is in the strong and beautiful name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Master Sergeant Erica Stevens.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it again for Master
So Xfinity regulars take up the first 2 rows to start this race, but Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, they are definitely a coming. 300 miles at Texas. We'll be right back. We are deep in the heart of Texas and deep into the Xfinity Series. After an Xfinity bye week, FS1 welcomes you to a great race out there in the heart of Texas. They say the stars at night are big and bright in Texas. They're also bright above the track down there, as Adam Alexander's with Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon. You guys have a great race up there today.
Indeed, Shannon, we will. It's going to be a great afternoon as I spend the day with a couple of Xfinity Series champions. And the last time these Xfinity cars were on track, it was Cole Custer that went to victory lane at Auto Club Speedway. The last time we raced here, it was Cole Custer in a thrilling finish that got the checkered flag, Kevin.
Yeah, when you look at this last lap on the straightaway here, this was just two guys going for nothing but the win. You see heavy contact. That should have been a crash, but it wound up being Cole Custer and getting back to the start-finish line first.
Reddick disappointed there, but he was happy a couple of weeks later when he was able to win his first series championship. So the big question all weekend long is, how aggressive can drivers be in turns 1 and 2? How wide is the racing groove going to get, Austin?
Well, we just got done with practice out there, and it really widened out a lot. So I was surprised. I love what the track has done to make that groove better. Kevin talked about making passes throughout practice on the top, which is nice. So hopefully we see a lot of that today.
Well, I think when you look at this particular racetrack, and the keys to this racetrack is getting through the center of 1 and 2. That's where you're going to make your passes. And I think as the groove moves up down there, you're also going to have the ability to take the air off the guy in the bottom lane. So it'll be interesting to see how that high groove comes in and what happens with the guy that is running side by side on the bottom and how aggressive he can be.
Qualifying was very interesting earlier today on FS1. And all Joe Gibbs Racing front row for the 54th time in series history, Christopher Bell, Brandon Jones. Quickly, what do you guys think about that duo?
Well, Brandon Jones has been fast, and that car has been fast every week. He's just got to put the whole race together.
Yeah, I've watched these guys really grow with Brandon Jones, and Christopher Bell's guy, when he's out front, he's hard to beat. So that qualifying effort is really going to help, and he gets the first pit stall, which is great.
It's just about time to go green, deep in the heart of Texas right now, trackside for the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to give the command to start engines, please welcome Bariatric Solutions fellow American College of Surgeons, MD, Dr. Heath Smith.
Drivers, start your engines!
Spring break is over for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's time to do battle at Texas Motor Speedway. Let's get set up by drivers prior to the green.
Here in Texas, got a really special paint scheme on the car this weekend with jdgibbslegacy.com. I encourage everyone to go onto the website, check it out, learn more about JD, and I think we've got a really, really good hot rod as well for this weekend in Texas. Qualified second. Looking forward to going out of here in the race. Excited to get out there and see what this racetrack holds. I was watching practice here on the Xfinity X1 app, and it looks like that PJ1, that traction compound they put down is coming in.
Looking forward to it. Texas, fast, high speeds, a lot of risk, a lot of reward. We're going to get after it today, and hope you guys enjoy on TV.
He's the defending champion. There's something about the Cole Custer trying to chase him down. Christopher Bell has dominated. History is made. It's about to get crazy. Let's go racing deep in the heart of Texas.
This is a high-speed chess match.
It's about to get crazy.
You ride, you're up. Right front, right rear.
Welcome to the Xfinity Series, huh? Third mile-and-a-half race of the year for NASCAR Xfinity Series teams. We're live at Texas Motor Speedway. It's cloudy, it's cool, it's windy. Happy to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon, live on FS1. So Ryan Sieg is off to an amazing start when you look at 2019. Never has he been able to accomplish what he's done through 5 races. His average finish is 8.4. And when you look at his history, it's all about family. He and his dad have been competing together for a long time, and now he's a family man. Got 3 kids of his own. Let's go from the driver's seat with a driver from Georgia. That would be Ryan Sieg, starting 19th today. Kevin?
Hey Ryan, this is Kevin up in the Fox booth. We've got some cooler weather today. We've got some PJ1 on the racetrack. How do you see all that affecting your day today?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge to keep up with the track and the changing conditions all day, but we're up for the challenge. We're a little farther back than we thought we should have been, but I got called speeding up pit road, and then we got trapped behind somebody on our next lap, so should be fun passing some cars and seeing how the track changes.
Well, hey, Ryan, this is Austin Dillon, and I know you got a lot of experience on the box with Shane Wilson and a couple of guys from RCR. How exciting has it been this year working with those guys?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. They're great. You know what I mean? We got a good group of guys and good ECR motors and good RCR cars, and it's been exciting to go to the track each week and contend for top 10s, and hopefully we'll get another one today.
Well, awesome, man. We're looking forward to watching you come through the field.
Thanks. Appreciate it. To all the new sponsors also with CMR this weekend. They're a new one for us, so couldn't do it without them.
Starting grid is in left of your screen, and Austin Minston, the new crew chief there, Shane Wilson, he's won here twice in Xfinity with you, Kevin, so he knows his way to victory lane. As we get set for the green flag, let's hear from our pit reporters. We start with Regan Smith. Hello, Regan.
Well, hello, Adam. Brandon Jones, who's pitted behind me right here. He's off to the best start of his NASCAR Xfinity Series career. Part of that good start includes starting second in the race today, but that means he's going to be the first driver to sample the traction compound that's down in turn 1. I asked him what he thought about that and what he was going to expect. He said, fortunately for him, the Cup cars in this most recent practice just ran up there. He's not as nervous about it, and he does have a teammate near him. Look for them to possibly use a little bit of teamwork here at the start of this race. Jamie Little?
Well, Regan, Brad Keselowski's making just his second start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Texas. So I just asked him, why Texas? And he told me, I need to run better in my Cup car. He's never won here in the Cup Series. And with that new traction compound put down in the corners, he told me there is a lot to be learned in this race today. Now, as for his chances of maybe winning today, something he's never done with the 12 team, he said, we are very average. Adam?
Well, Team Penske did win this race a season ago. It was Ryan Blaney who pulled into victory lane in that 22 car. Should remind everyone that there's added significance in today's race for all the series regulars. This is a qualifier for the Dash for Cash that begins next weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway. An additional $100,000 on the line the next 4 weeks. The top 4 finishers today running for Xfinity points will qualify, and the best of those next weekend on the short track in Tennessee will take home an extra $100 grand. And when we've got our scoreboard in, we will always highlight the top 4 in the series today, and those will be the ones that will be eligible next week. Christopher Bell qualified on the pole, his second of 2019.
Won the pole for qualifying. That was really cool. Second race in a row here at Texas, so we've got the pole. Last time I got the pole here, I spun out on the first lap, first corner, so gonna try and not do that again. And looks like the PJ1's coming in nice, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to run side by side with people, and it's a good race.
Well, I think there's definitely something to be learned from that. That I learned from that video is he learned from his mistake last time. So yeah. That's a good thing. But I think that's going to be a story at some point today. I think you're going to see a car probably spin out underneath somebody when they really realize how much grip there is in that PJ1. You know, and I think the other thing that comes in with that is that PJ1 in turn 1 is hard. There's a very fine line of where you need to be. If you get too high, you lose the front end and it doesn't have as much grip. It'll be interesting to see if they keep moving that grip up, because they have to run in it for that PJ1 to get rubbered up.
Okay, I'm glad he moved to the outside. I was wondering if he was going to take that option right there, because like he said, he spun out here last year on the bottom, and after seeing Cup practice, he must have seen that the top in 1 and 2 was going to have the advantage, hopefully, going in this first start.
One driver that's been really impressive this weekend, Kaz Gralla in the 21, making his first start of the year.
It's been a great weekend so far, guys. A lot of fun and a fast car. So thank you for all the hard work at the shop and at the track. We'll go out and have a clean race, have smooth pit stops, no mistakes on track or in the pits. I think we'll be able to put ourselves up front by the end of this, try to race for that trophy. Remember what the big plan is, that big trophy at the end of the year, making the playoffs. Be smart.
Definitely appreciate everyone's help. Got a really good car this weekend. Really racy car. So just chip away at it all day, like you said, and get pit stops. Do my job out here, and we'll have a good day.
2 young drivers sharing row 6. Justin Haley, who won the truck race here in November. He comes in with a ton of confidence, and when he got that checkered flag, it qualified him for the championship 4 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Adam, when I look at that 21 car in Austin, you can vouch for this. We won a lot of races in that 21 car here at Texas Motor Speedway, and one thing that I can tell you, in Austin, you can probably back this up. Texas Motor Speedway has always been one of
the best Xfinity Series tracks for the RCR gang, in my opinion. We always ran really well here, no matter how our season was going.
It really has, and I like Justin Alexander on top of the box for him today. I worked with him a lot over the last couple years, and Kaz, I've seen him in the shop a lot lately. It's going to be impressive to see what he can do today with that car.
You said it, Austin. Christopher Bell takes the outside lane as the pole sitter. Brandon Jones to his inside. We're green at Texas Motor Speedway. Degrees as we go green. Only the second time this year we've been below 60 as the green goes in the air. Bell slides in front of his teammate and takes the top spot.
And that temperature is a big deal because these cars love cool temperatures. The tires love cool temperatures, and there's always, oh, we've got one spinner.
Already a spinner. That's the 51 of Jeremy Clements.
Roll once you get here. Splitter's good. Splitter's good.
It's been a rough Saturday
Back up the track.
for him. He qualified up front earlier. Time disallowed because he had a pit road speeding penalty during the qualifying session. Started 17th, and right out of the gates, we put the yellow flag in the air. Had 13 cautions here in November 9 last night in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series race.
Man, you see a whole bunch of cars sideways on the top up there, and he was on the bottom, but looked like there was a whole bunch of sideways right there, and sometimes that is the case when you start these Xfinity races. The cars have been driving one way, and we practiced last night with the Xfinity cars later, and you'll drop the green flag, and they'll put all the cars in a group, and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to my car? It's sideways, and that is a very common thing that happens, and you see the 9 car and the 51 car, and I don't remember who the other one was there, but they were sideways and just lost it.
And the further back that area just gets worse and worse and compounds, and you're on old tires for a long time in practice. You put full fuel in the back, it gets free quick.
Just underway at Texas, already under caution. Christopher Bell leading the way. Top 5 at Texas Motor Speedway: Christopher Bell, Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, Tyler Reddick, Jeb Burton. Top Ford is Cole Custer. So we go with our Ford performance track facts. 13 Xfinity wins at Texas for the Blue Oval. That's the best of anyone. Mark Martin won the first race here in 1997. And as we talked about off the top, last time we came here, it was all about Cole Custer, who had that last lap pass and locked himself in to the championship race in South Florida.
Guys, the one thing I was talking about before the spin there was the temperature, and I always felt like when it's cooler, the cars and the tires love it because it makes more speed, but it was always edgier, especially when you were racing, because in order to make speed, you had to be more throttle, less brake, and the cars seem to have a little less window of when they spin out. And the other thing that Regan told us during the break was the wind was blowing. You have a tailwind going down the front stretch. What that does is give the cars more side force. It's like somebody pushing against the side of the car through 3 and 4. The unique thing where those cars got loose is right about where the grandstands start, and that wind stops blowing right there and doesn't push on the car quite as hard. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops all day.
That edge goes away quick.
Yes, it does.
Looked like that's what got Jeremy Clements as we came off turn 4, brought out our first caution of the day. We're green once again.
Well, the first start, I thought that Christopher Bell and Brandon Jones had it worked out to where Bell would come down to the bottom. That one, it looked like they were going to race a little bit, and one thing I saw there was Christopher Bell stayed up a little bit longer. They're going to realize that turns 1 and 2 has more grip in that PJ1 than what it did yesterday in practice. So I would say that the top groove could become the preferred groove on the restarts as we go into the day and they really start racing hard into turn 1.
And I know somebody that'll test it out real quick, and that's that 2 car, Tyler Reddick. He'll get up there as fast as he can. Most of the time, he is one of the guys that gets up quick.
Reddick told me yesterday in the garage he feels like he threw this race away last November. Said the same thing about the event in California a couple of weeks ago. So he comes here seeking redemption. He's had a fast race car, qualified 3rd. He finds himself 5th right now. I'd say Kyle Busch, just in front of Reddick, might test that high groove as well, huh? He tends to put it wherever it needs to go.
Back up, 1 back half inside 22.
Well,
after the 22, we have a hole by 8.
You see Reddick get loose right there, and what happens is that traction compound has a little more grip through the middle of 1 and 2. So you got to set your car up pretty free to run in that traction compound. And down in the bottom right there, you see Tyler Reddick get loose. There's not as much grip down there, but the car will turn better, but it's got to turn better on the top than it does on the bottom, so you wind up loose a little bit.
On board with Jeff Burton, he had a front row seat.
Austin, that's just a difficult corner because it's so much different than 3 and 4. You go in there, the turn, you can't really see the bottom. It's got a real wide entry, and the car has to turn down there in order to make time. And it gets
kind of
loose.
Unloads as you go down in that corner. The bacon kind of falls away from you. It's just awkward, truthfully, and especially when you go through 3 and 4 with all this grip and all this traction, and you got to actually think about lifting when you go down into 1 and 2, and traffic just makes it more difficult.
Just outside the top 10, you got Brad Keselowski. Behind him, Daytona winner. That would be Michael Annett in the 81 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. New race team, Joe Gibbs Alliance. And we've already seen this year, he came to play in 2019. And if you go behind him, it's the rookie, Noah Gragson, Jamie.
Making his first Xfinity Series start here at Texas. He didn't have a great qualifying run. He started 16th, but he felt like he had a top 5 car. But early on, you guys saw him, he got sideways. And what he told his team, he tried to go up high. He was trying to pick some drivers off up there, but just got too loose. No right rear grip.
Back at the front, it's Christopher Bell that continues to show the way. We're at the 1/4 point of stage number 1. Justin Allgaier now up to second.
And look how close all these cars are. What happens here is you have 1 and 2 as the handling corner, and you get to 3 and 4, and it's pretty much wide open. So what happens is you get your run off of turn 2, and you wind up drafting all the way back to turn 1, so it kind of keeps the cars more bunched up. But I was just looking up here, and all the cars are much closer than we're normally seeing, except for the first couple.
Justin Allgaier was really happy with his car. I heard him talking yesterday in practice. I thought he ended a little bit early, but he was that happy with the car. So it's impressive to see if he can run down Bell here by the end of this first stage.
He's way ahead of schedule. He's usually a final stage guy, Kevin.
But Austin's right. He did end early, and his lap times looked really good on the lap tracker as they kept it running.
And this is a team that needs something good to happen. The West Coast swing did not pay dividends for them. They got a weekend off to reset, and here they are with plenty of speed at Texas. Saw Michael Annett just outside the top 10. Racing the 11 of Justin Haley. It's a nice little battle. 4 cars, maybe 5 of them involved right here for 11th.
It's so hard being those 2 guys behind that big pack of air because you know you need clean air, but there's none to get. You're trying everything you can to put yourself in the best position.
Clear.
So entertaining in the early going. 3 wide into turn 3. That's a little dangerous.
When that guy on your door is that tight, man, it is definitely not a feeling that you like to have.
And you know you need to keep the gas pedal down so you don't get swallowed up by the guys behind you.
Kyle Busch continues his climb, looking for his 3rd Xfinity win of the year. Undefeated in trucks. Won last night here at Texas, his 4th victory of the campaign. Top 5, Bell, Allgaier, Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones, and Austin Cindric for 15 laps in at Texas. Christopher Bell leading at Texas. And there is Noah Gragson coming into the corner, and he just about went around. How about this save?
Yeah, and, you know, we talk about the car having to turn down there, and I'm sure that his car is just obviously too loose right now to start the race, and they're going to have to make some adjustments because we talked about him on the very first lap down in 3 and 4 being too loose as well.
It's easy to get a little too much down there in 1 and 2. It kind of invites you into the corner and easy to overdrive, but the good guys seem to back it up and really use the speed on exit to carry down into 3 and 4.
I feel like the 2 most used words from the spotter stand today would be hang on. A lot of loose race cars out there. Bell leading Allgaier 2nd. He looks good early, Jamie.
Yeah, well, you listen to all these drivers and everybody's complaining about something, but Justin Allgaier seems to be pretty happy with the car. He's already gained 2 positions. Said he's a little bit tight in 1 and 2, but overall he's turning really good and he loves the balance of the 7.
I've just got to imagine finding the balance this weekend has been tough. And I go back to the temperature thing, and not just how cold it is today, but how much colder it is today compared to what we saw here during practice yesterday. A huge departure for these teams, and if anybody's going to hit it, it's going to be Kyle Busch and his crew chief Ben Bayshore, just because of the experience and track time that he is getting, and Brandon Jones has done a good job in that category as well. And next, you'll see rounding out the top 5, Austin Cindric. What about the 22, Regan?
Well, fast start for Austin Cindric. Adam, he's from up to 5th place from his 10th place starting position. I asked him yesterday what he was going to do to prepare for this track conditions and the fact that we have traction compound on the racetrack. He stayed last night and actually watched the truck race to try and learn about what was going on with this racetrack.
Got to be a student of the game. There's your teammate Austin, the 2 of Tyler Reddick, 6th right now.
Getting a little challenge from Cole Custer here. Still seems a little free right there, picking up the gas and kind of driving him out of the track. Doesn't look like he can put the wheel in it that he really wants to.
Surprised Custer hasn't moved up more in the early going, Kevin?
Well, I think everybody's still trying to figure out where they need to have their car. They're on used tires, like Austin pointed out from qualifying, and right now their balance is obviously not where they want it to be. So everybody hasn't got up there and really felt out the traction compound. And right now you see Tyler Reddick get loose there on the entry again, but that left front tire has to be right on that line in turns 1 and 2 for your car to be right. So you have to be right on the edge of being too loose.
Reddick, Custer 6th and 7th. Brad Keselowski next up in the running order, 8th right now.
Yeah, he talked about being very average before the race, but it looks like he's working his way to the front. I bet by the end of the day he's not going to be very average. He'll be solid.
Just kind of laying in the weeds is Brad Keselowski right now. John Hunter Nemechek had a solid top 5 run. We came here in November, and they've been faster today than they were yesterday in practice. Been all day in both sessions 24 hours ago outside the top 10, and rounding out our top 10 this afternoon, Michael Annett in the 1 for Junior Motorsports.
Michael's had a great start to the year also this year.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than winning, because winning cures a lot of problems and immediately boosts confidence. But these guys have done a great job with this one car and being better every week than they were last year. And then you see Jeremy Clements. I watched him yesterday on the lap tracker as well in practice and had some great lap times. Saw him pop up there in qualifying. I know they had a little trouble and obviously spun out here at the beginning of the race, but he's a lot like Ryan Sieg. Those guys have really stepped it up and done a good job with not a lot.
You think that putting on those new tires that'll hurt him at the end of the race, not having that set?
It just depends on if they give him another set or not. I don't know if they will or not.
Well, you do get 4 sets here for the race, and it's quite possible. You have 4 sets in the pits, 5 for the race. Of course, you start the race on the ones you qualified on. If you get a long green flag run in that final stage, it may balance out for them. You got to wait and see how it plays, but they could get lucky in that category. Hard to believe. Down to 14 laps to go in stage 1. It continues to be Christopher Bell, your leader. He's led them all today.
NASCAR fans, are you ready to take your Wi-Fi to the next level? Then you need Xfinity XFi, a more powerful way to stay connected. It gives you super fast speeds for all your devices, Wi-Fi coverage that leaves no room behind, and lets you control your network with the XFi app. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience. Xfinity, official partner of NASCAR.
Not much here, except the usual.
What if we spice things up a bit? Alexa.
What if we turn it up a notch?
What if we go off the map?
The all-new RAV4. Toyota, let's go places.
You have to be perfect. Every week matters, every one of them. Nothing ever goes to plan.
I can't see. I put a helmet on and I become a different person.
It's gonna get crazy. Being able to go that fast and make split-second decisions. It's 140 degrees inside the race car, and you can't afford to make a mistake. If you're not tired, you didn't drive hard enough.
Coming alive. 80 to 9.
Harper, man. Phillies look nasty.
When you have Harper, you combine the confidence and the presence, this team expects to win.
When you get that one guy, it just gives you a little extra swag, right?
This is what I know. Machado, cornerstone, veteran guy, able to lead.
He's ready.
We've seen this kid year in and year out get better and better. Manny Machado's a very consistent ball player.
Watch what's about to come.
As we return to Texas Motor Speedway, we go on this day, 9 laps remaining in our opening stage for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. March 30th, 1909, the Queensboro Bridge opened in New York City. Batman introduced for the first time in the comic book Detective Comics, number 27. In 1993, Charlie Brown hit his first home run in the Peanuts comic strip. And the last time the Xfinity Series raced on March 30th, it was 1996. Who won? Surprise, surprise. Mark Martin at Bristol. And as we told you earlier, he won the first race here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Xfinity Series. And here's Kyle Busch, who is now second behind teammate Christopher Bell. He's moving on up.
Yeah, this is kind of a feeling out process for the whole field, and Kyle went up there and probably, you know, was able to let off the gas a little bit less and had been feeling it out. We've been talking about him kind of creeping up the racetrack and finally got enough nerve to hold the throttle pedal down and was able to make a pass. So that traction compound will get stickier as they keep running up there.
A lot of movement with about 5 to go in the stage. Reddick racing with Cindric and Brad Keselowski. Saw a flash of Cole Custer going to 4th around Brandon Jones.
At the end of these long runs, you really see a difference in the guys that come and go from the beginning of a run to the end. It'll be interesting to see if that changes after the pit stops and the adjustments are made.
Keselowski 8th right now. Jamie, what's the word?
Yeah, he's moved up a couple of positions since the start of the race. He hasn't run here since 2016, so he's constantly talking to his spotter and asking, where is Kyle Busch running? Tell me what line he's running. He's also a little bit free, but just about 2 laps ago, Brad came on the radio and said, I'm picking up a vibration here, guys.
And the good news for him, only 5 laps to go here in this first stage, so he'll get an opportunity to come down pit road. And here's Kyle Busch on the radio.
Started out a little bit loose with the back everywhere, all the way through the corner of both ends. Kind of trended that way a little bit, and then it finally got the back underneath it, and it's been a little stuck fit. The stuff bits I have right now is not bad. I can stand to turn the center of both ends a little bit better, but I need the rear grip on the front side.
And this place has such high speed at the beginning of a run. When you have to run the tire pressures low in order to make the car keep going, they're really, really hard to drive because of the fact that the tires are low. And the car just doesn't have as much grip. And believe it or not, this place has a lot of bumps through 3 and 4 where you make a lot of speed and it gets to going up and down. And it's just a really, really handful as you go through 3 and 4 because of the fact that the tires are low and the car's moving around.
And what Kevin said, and you really don't realize how rough this track is in 3 and 4 because everybody sees that it's paved and new. It doesn't always mean the case that it's not rough. And getting that balance with a splitter going through 3 and 4 can be really tough.
2 laps to go on the stage, so they close pit road. And we saw a moment ago that race leader Christopher Bell went around Jeremy Clements, putting him a lap down. But he'll likely get the free pass. We got 18 cars on the lead lap right now as we pick up Bell. We'll have 1 lap remaining to a stage victory when he comes off of turn 4. And the final position to gain points in our first stage, Noah Gragson around Michael Annett there. Just in front, John Hunter Nemechek. And in our scoring pylon, those drivers highlighted, the ones that would qualify right now to run for the $100,000 bonus via the Dash for Cash next weekend at Bristol.
Noah Gregson's really loose car has found that traction compound and starting to make some good time.
4th stage win of the year for Christopher Bell. He swept in Atlanta. First mile-and-a-half race in 2019, and he leads every lap in our opening stanza today. Good start for Joe Gibbs Racing. They put all 3 of their drivers in the top 5. Busch, Allgaier, Custer, and Jones, but today it's all about Bell. Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Action for Healthy Kids, a nonprofit organization working to improve children's health and well-being in schools nationwide. Find out how to involve your local school in Every Kid Healthy Week this April 22nd through the 26th by visiting actionforhealthykids.org. Opening stage of the race complete at Texas for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Christopher Bell wins it. Kyle Busch, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Brandon Jones, the top 5. Then it's Reddick, Cindric, Keselowski, Nemechek, and Noah Gragson got the final spot scoring points. They'll hit pit road here, and Jamie Little's waiting on them.
And Justin Allgaier is in the first box on pit road. His team runs around to service the car just a little bit tight, 1 and 2. Balance has been good for Justin Allgaier. The 0-0. Cole Custer said he's pretty edgy in 1 and 2. Tight overall. They want some adjustments there. They'll do that with air pressure. Regan?
We heard the very descriptive radio from Kyle Busch about how his race car was handling. It's still too loose. He wants some more rear grip with that car. He did run in traffic to help him get a read on his race car yesterday, though. And the 20-car leader, Christopher Bell, his race car is uneasy into turn 1 and a little tight in the center. He wants to be freed up just a little bit for that.
Race off pit road goes to Kyle Busch. Tight one as he comes off in front of his teammate Christopher Bell. Then it's Reddick who goes +3, Keselowski +4, and Cole Custer goes 1 in the wrong direction. And we just got a report that Bell, who wins the opening stage, too fast entering. He led the first 48 laps of this one. Now he's going to have to work through some traffic.
Well, the good omen for Bell is he has won the last 3 races that he has won stage 1. So he'll have to try and come back through there.
Don't sell us on that. Sell
Should I
him
call
on
him
that.
up?
Aren't you going to talk to him here?
All right.
Oh, boy. There's his teammate. More problems for Joe Gibbs Racing. Brandon Jones taking the jack with him. That's not an option.
Yeah, this is a classic example of 8 wheels not being better than 4. That's for sure.
Hey, Christopher, how you doing, man? Good stage 1 there. I know you got a battle from the back now. What's the car been doing?
It's been really good so far, so that's good. I'm looking at the pylon here. I see the 12 is still back there, so I think clean air is worth a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how we fare from the back here.
Well, I just mentioned up here in the box that you have won the last 3 races, that you've won stage 1. So we're going to be pulling for you to create some action coming back up through the field, man.
That's a good stat. Thank you.
Maybe that got him pumped up for us.
We boosted his confidence there. That's for sure.
Brandon Jones is back in. They'll get the jack and replace it with a different one and see exactly what happened. This is a tough situation for them because he's been good.
And those jacks aren't cheap either.
Yeah, I mean, that jack's probably $8,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
There it is, middle of your screen. Removing equipment from the box, post the 19. Before we get going in stage 2, let's highlight crew chief of the 98, Richard Boswell, who comes from Maryland. Grew up in a racing family, and many might not know he was actually a karting world champion in the late 90s, drove a late model, and now is calling the shots for Chase Briscoe. Let's hear from him down to Jamie.
And he's on the pit box now. Almost lost our notes here with the wind coming up. You and your driver, you guys still trying to learn each other and seeing what he needs exactly. He said he wants to charge the corners harder here. Were you able to give him those changes that he needs that you think for the end?
Yeah, I think so. We made some adjustments yesterday in practice that seemed to help this same condition. So we're going to revisit that and see if we can't help him out here. But overall, Nutrichomp's forward's been pretty good all weekend. Still trying to learn each other a little bit, and this team's working hard to do that. So looking forward to the end of the race.
And I know one guy who's helping him a lot. He's in our booth, Kevin Harvick. He gives you a lot of credit.
Yeah, Kevin and Richard have certainly worked together. And, of course, as we said there on the graphic, Chase and Richard were able to win together last fall on the Roval. So he's a smart guy, Kevin.
Yeah, they've already been to victory lane, and Boswell is one of those guys that worked his way up and loves to race. And you see that in that video right there, has driven himself. And from a driver's standpoint, that really helps in understanding what you need in the car.
Our Xfinity fastest pit stops. No surprise, Brad Keselowski at the top here at 14.4. I think they gained 4 positions in that exchange. And driver 12 going to restart 4th. Bell going to have to drop back. Kyle Busch going to be the race leader here.
You and Bow were pretty solid, couple tenths faster than everybody behind you. It was interesting because, like, I was better in 3 and 4, and he was better in 1 and 2, and then we flip-flopped, and then we flipped back again. But the more I rode behind him there, the closer I'd get to him, the more air tight I got. And then once I started losing the right front, it just got worse and worse.
Yeah, and what happens there, you start losing that right front, and you just have to keep waiting on it longer and longer in 1 and 2 for it to change directions. I'm excited about this. Christopher Bell in the back. I know he's not excited about it, but I'm excited to see him and his teammate come through the field and see if they test that PJ, or I have to call it traction compound. Too technical. It's traction compound. When
Put $1 in the bowl,
when
okay?
I refer to PJ1, that is traction compound, folks.
This will be the race within the race, watching those guys come back up through the field.
Kyle Busch takes the outside lane. Tyler Reddick to his inside. The last time they were in this situation, overtime at Las Vegas, it didn't end well for the 2.
I think they'll got that 2 hopefully tightened up a little bit since this first run.
Now, all clear.
Getting a big shove for Brad. It didn't work out for Brad, though.
Oh, they're all stacked up behind him.
That is a lot of cars.
Yeah, and it looked like Brad got a little bit loose or pushed up or something there, and you see the mess that it created when it stacked them all up.
I keep thinking eventually 3 wide and 3 and 4 is going to be a problem. So far, so good. And best on this restart, give a call to Cole Custer, who's second, and Noah Gregson, the rookie, is third in that 9 car.
Yeah, they had a good pit stop, and as that run ended with Noah Gregson, he took that loose race car and started to move up into that traction compound and was really making good time. And we see Brad here. It looks like he's struggling a little bit on new tires to get his car going like he wants to, but taking advantage of that grip up top with a looser race car.
We've seen guys be able to create passes there. It definitely makes that inside guy think about what he's going to do when he goes into the corner.
Issues for Brad Keselowski. Off the pace, back straightaway. Actually coming through the front straightaway here and into turn 1.
Everyone's squared up to you.
What was the deal there? Now he's coming off of turn 4 and across the start-finish line.
Oh, from that radio conversation, it sounds like somebody hit him.
Couple of problems here.
Yeah, he tried to get off of the 2 and then stacked them up, and the 7 got into him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and in Justin's defense right there, you know, I think as you go through 1 and 2, and Austin, you can talk to what you think about this, but you want to be right on him. Oh, we got another spin here on the front stretch.
Going to be our 3rd caution of the day. 66 of Timmy Hill, 52 of David Starr involved.
Get 4 tires up here on the wall. We got to look at the left front. We need to look at the splitter. You just can't race back there with those guys.
And it's Tyler Hill driving the 66. Timmy in the 13 this week. And look at this.
I love it. A lot of action started up.
Non-verbal communication between Brad Keselowski and Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, Brad's not happy about that. You know, I think from Brad's standpoint, see a big donut on the side of the 52. That might have had something to do with that spin. Maybe a car underneath it loose. I bet somebody was loose underneath that car.
See the damage there for Tyler.
You're exactly right. Guy got loose underneath 52. That's where that donut came from.
Yeah, and it's like we talk, you know, on new tires and underneath a car, and the guys on the outside are realizing that there's more grip up there, and they start to hold the throttle down, and a guy on the inside, he has to make a choice like you were talking earlier, and you find out by being a little more aggressive every time, the next thing you know, it steps out on you and you wind up in that guy's door.
I think the grass did more damage right there than the wreck.
Oh, don't get me started on the grass.
Let's hear from Justin Allgaier after the issues he had with Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, 10-4. Next time, Eddie, get a good look at the right side, because Brad decided to run into me with his middle finger out. Which, I mean, I'm sure he's mad because I got him, but you can't brake check somebody in the middle of the corner because you're getting loose.
It's a strong middle finger.
Yeah, and that was, you know, I think that was just Brad trying to help, and he let off. And I don't think Justin realized that.
Tightening up the field will help both Brandon Jones and Christopher Bell, who had lost track position after those penalties a while ago. Under caution for the third time today. This is not the reason why, but a nice exchange on that last restart. Brad Keselowski, Justin Allgaier.
Happened there.
He entered a little lower, about a 3/4 car length behind you, surged up to you, and just hit you square, just like you said, 2 or 3 laps in a row.
Even on the restart, I'm on the car in front of me. Was he hitting me that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he definitely hit him after the restart, but I think this move here, when you roll in there and you're the guy behind a loose car, you want to be able to roll through the center of the corner, and you try to time it so that you just squeeze off that bumper and you can get the side draft. And I think that, in my opinion, Brad was going slower than Justin anticipated. He just hit him.
Yeah, that just shows you Justin's car's quite a bit better than the 12 at this point in time. The contact was a little aggressive, but, you know, from the very beginning, the first part, Brad had to lift because he was so tucked in against the 2. That's why the 7 got in him. I get that a little bit. The second one, I think Justin could have been a little, maybe a touch more patient. I don't know.
You think that just that anticipation of being able to get by somebody and knowing that they're a little bit of a weakness right now, and the time when you see somebody that has a weakness, you want to go now because it doesn't get easier to pass as you go through the run most of the time.
The other thing is, this is a short run. The stage is only 45 laps, and really more like 40 once you wrap up the caution and all that.
And it's like you said, that kind of flip-flop on the pit stop. You know, just the only reason that 7 got behind the 12 was because of a 12 had a really good pit stop. So
adrenaline is flowing there. The first couple laps are a start.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say if the 12 gets back to the 7, the favor probably will be repaid.
Yeah. It might not be the middle finger that comes out. It might just be the index finger pointing high. Because you know it will be aggressive if he just hangs down low.
All of this happening behind Kyle Busch, who's going for his 3rd Xfinity win today and will go for his 3rd Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series victory tomorrow. Our coverage begins here on FS1, 1:30 Eastern Time with race day. Then it's over to Fox at 2:30. We're going green shortly after 3 o'clock. And if final practice is any indication of what we're going to see for 500 miles tomorrow, we are going to be in for a real treat. I say we from a fan and broadcasting perspective. I don't know about the two of you. It looked pretty stressful out there.
It was wild. You didn't want to lift in the middle of the pack. I know that much. You needed to have the throttle down.
It was different than anywhere that we have been so far. So I'll just say that. It was intense.
It's been a moving target all year, hasn't it?
Well, and you know, I think that the traction compound has a little bit to do with that because you're not worried about the second groove not having enough grip. It has enough grip, and you can stay out there.
Great day for junior motorsports, and I want to highlight the final driver in the top 5. That would be Jeb Burton, 5th. Hadn't been in a race car a lot this year. Rookie crew chief and Taylor Moyer. This is the 5th different driver in 6 races for them, and they continue to deliver.
And that's hard. Taylor's doing a good job because we've talked about this before. There's a lot of seats, a lot of different opinions, and he's managing all that well.
Kyle Busch outside lane, Cole Custer below him, Reddick, Gregson row 2, then it's Burton and Allgaier. Restart as we complete lap 18 on our second stage.
Still steady, making his way to the front right now. His car is really fast at this moment in time.
And he's being very, very aggressive with being right on guys' bumpers, trying to make that work while he's got that advantage.
His bumper. Roll the top here. Big boost.
Interesting, he's racing Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, because those are 3 that I think final stage long run could be a real factor.
Wow.
And Keselowski goes around and into the wall.
Back damage, guys. Backed into the wall. It's not good, but I don't know if it's fatal. Well, bring it to us. We'll take a look.
Guy below me spun out.
Was running 11th at the time. It's our 4th caution of the day.
I'm going to say that one's going to have a struggle to finish the race competitively. But he said the guy got loose underneath him. I'm interested to see what happened down turn 1 and 2.
It's his teammate there, Austin Cindric, Kaz Grala in that mix. So is the 11 of Justin Haley.
Yeah, it looks like the 11 kind of got there too soon and may have just touched the line, and you see that as he tries to come back up and unload the wheel, it unloads the car, and he just got loose.
And at 20 of Christopher Bell, back there because of the speeding penalty, nearly got taken out as well. Good job for him to dance through the problem.
Yeah, you just see Haley coming up there after he's trying to gather his car up, and that's just what we talked about at the beginning of the race. You know, that inside line is going to have to make some decisions on how hard to push it.
Just an unfortunate position for Brad to be in there. He was minding his own business, and 11 gets loose. Christopher did a great job right there.
So did Justin, really, to gather it up, and he stayed out of trouble for the most part. It's been a difficult year for Brad. 2 starts in the Xfinity Series. Remember back at Daytona, they had the roof hatch problem and fought that all day long. And now today a spin in the middle portion of this 2nd stage. And I wonder, opportunity for strategy here as we see the damage for Haley. You have 3 sets of tires left. You're going to have that long run in the final stage. We'll keep an eye on that if anyone pits. Meanwhile, the damaged cars are in, including Haley, Jamie.
Yeah, and Justin Haley, first start here. He's just been saying his car was loose, and you saw it just snap loose there. He has some damage from getting into the 12 of Brad Keselowski, but it looks and sounds like it's pretty minimal, so they'll try to fix it up here and get him back out.
One thing I will say about all the loose cars today is usually when we have the cooler weather, it gives the front end more grip, and the front tires just turn better, and it makes those cars just not have those handling characteristics that they had when it was warmer.
I want to give a call to 2 drivers in the top 10. Didn't know what to expect this weekend. Kaz Grala is 8th right now, first start of the year, and Jeffrey Earnhardt is 9th with the new team. A lot of good things to celebrate today, and I'm not sure we've mentioned Noah Gragson now up to 2nd behind his old boss Kyle Busch. So there's a lot of good things happening early in this race.
He definitely went through a feeling out process with his car at the beginning of the race. It was way too loose, and I feel like they probably made some adjustments to their car, but he did a really good job at the end of that run by making some good lap time, moving up the racetrack and taking advantage of that traction compound.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that from the 9 early in the run, and he's made something of it. He's up to 2nd place. The junior motorsports cars all look strong today. How about that spicy ice cream you had yesterday?
I did have some spicy ice cream, and if you take one good look at me, you know that I never turn down ice cream.
Well, Kaz Grala is looking good in the 21, so hopefully he can keep that spicy ice cream up front.
Was that part of the deal to put this ride together at RCR? He brings ice cream.
Oh man, we love ice cream. Welcome North Carolina, so we're all for it when it became a part of our team.
And I know he spent time in a simulator, but it's got to be difficult when you haven't been racing to come out and compete at this level and do it at such a nice rate. Under caution for the 4th time. This time it's for Brad Keselowski. And I think after Belmonte rolls a strike, he should do this right here. Yeah!
On Sundays, you'll see him in a 43 uniform, and he waves at every car.
Every car.
Every car.
And if you don't wave back, you feel bad.
You do.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the scoreboard here and see that Haley is still on the lead lap, going to restart 20th. Right now we got 20 cars on the lead lap, so he's the last one in that category. Top 5, Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, and Tyler Reddick. And there's Keselowski, who's going to call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, part-time car. I mean, the only reason that Brad's here and that 12 team is here to win a race, and today it just didn't go their way.
I would have lost money saying he'd be 0 for 2 with 2 DNFs in a couple of starts this year.
I don't think that's the last one that's going to be in the garage, tore up.
And watch Christopher Bell on the restart. He's regained some of that track position. He'll go 11th here. And we'll have about 20 laps to go in the stage. Gragson not going away in that low lane.
Used the side draft properly right there.
Still there, quarter.
He's going to have a shot to take the lead off too.
Well, and that's how it was last night in the truck race. The bottom lane was the one that prevailed, but that's definitely the most aggressive start that we've seen, you know, on our restarts today. So that bottom lane definitely was the lane to be in right there with the side draft.
First time a driver has led laps today that is not running a race car for Joe Gibbs. Noah Gregson on point as we crank it up from Texas.
Going back both ways. 3 back. Just manage here. We'll get a couple of them. 18 to go. Clear hard. Clear. Perfect. You're good. All good. You got the 20 about. Just you and the 2. One to the 23. Inside. Right at the bumper here, showing the bumper inside. 2. All in, take it. Quick hold behind him, quick hold. Still very even, no little pressure. Still out there at your doors.
Off the pace, 22 of Austin Cindric.
2 back coming inside.
What a tough segment of the race for Team Penske.
Clear by 2.
There was a really good battle up front for the second spot there with Kyle Busch and Justin Allgaier. Kyle held his own for a pretty long time on the outside, but the bottom prevailed for Justin.
Yeah, and the one thing that I can say about Kyle being in that top groove, and I experienced this a little bit in practice today in the Cup car, was the fact that traction compound doesn't seem to grip as well with the new tires until they get some heat in them, and you run through there and get that traction compound almost warmed up. Yes, the heat in the tires and the traction compound in order to make enough grip to get the front tires to turn. It seems like the cars just want to push, and it seemed like Kyle's car was bouncing the nose really bad through 3 and 4 in that top groove.
Here's a look at what happened to Cindric. Was 12th, now he's 18th.
Same problem Brad was dealing with. Get a guy underneath you, and he's a little too loose, and use the 22 to slow himself down.
Here's what Austin said on the radio after that situation.
The right rear, the bumper cover's kind of split from the right side. Letters off the right rear, all push into the tire. No smoke, but just push into the tire like the tire's sticking out.
Spotter Josh Williams giving the report there.
Yeah, and that's really the only way that the crew can get a diagnosis of the car in order to know what they need to work on when he comes in the pits. Whether it's under green here or under yellow, they're going to have to work on that car, and they need to know what they need to have prepared on the pit wall for bare bond and tape and all those things in order to fix the car.
Christopher Bell started on the pole, led the first 48 laps, had a speeding penalty at the end of stage 1. He has worked his way back to 8th.
On paper, man, Phillies look nasty.
When you have Harper, you combine the confidence and the presence. This team expects to win.
When you get that one guy, it just gives you a little extra swag, right?
This is what I know. Machado, cornerstone, veteran guy, able to lead.
He's ready.
We've seen this kid year in and year out get better and better. Manny Machado's a very consistent ball player.
Watch what's about to come.
Choosing my car insurance was the easiest decision ever. I switched to Geico and saved hundreds. That's a win. But it's not the only reason I switched. Geico's a company I can trust, with over 75 years of great savings and service. Now that's a win-win.
Switch to Geico. It's a win-win.
Many have style. Few have pure grace. Many have strength. Few have raw power. And many possess beauty, but only a few can touch our souls.
There are many SUVs, but there's only one legend. The 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever.
Welcome to our NASCAR Race Hub.
From the green flag at Daytona to the checkers at Homestead.
In the car,
That close might get you on Race Hub.
under the hood, and hanging with the drivers.
A little love fest here. Gordon, Harvick, Canal, and of course the champ.
We've got the drama, the stories, the science.
New levels of analysis and storytelling for the sport.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Love the side-by-side on FS1. That means you don't miss anything, including what brought out our 5th caution of the day. It was Ray Black Jr. hard into the wall, turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, this impact is pretty impressive, but you can really thank NASCAR for all the safety equipment that they've used for Ray just to pop out of there. That one got shortened up quick.
Yeah, it's such a long ways to the wall in that particular corner. I couldn't tell. Did he just lose it, or was there something that happened with the car, the black car there that was right behind him? So either way, it was a really hard impact and going to need a rear clip for sure.
I think it was Joey Gase that was coming through behind him there, the car you referred to, Kevin. So 9 laps to go in the stage. Pit road is closed here, so we're going to be down to 8 laps remaining. What do you do here strategy-wise? And maybe an opportunity to get out of balance, gain some track position for this final stint of the race. What are you guys thinking here?
Well, I think if you're outside of the top 10, it's a good time to try to pit and keep the track position. And the guys up front are gonna want those stage points, but they're also not going to want to be buried in traffic. So it's just a matter of how many cars pit and don't pit, and where that breakoff point is. But I think they're all going to pit.
Yeah, you got a guy like Kyle Busch also that could come down, has nothing to lose.
Let's hear from Brad Keselowski, Jamie.
Well, he was just checked and released from the care center. Your day is done. We saw what happened with you in the 7, but what led to you deciding to call it a day?
The team said the damage was too much, but frustrating day. I don't know if we were the fastest car. I think, probably the 18's the fastest car out there, but all these short restarts, there's a handful of cars that seem to have a lot of real quick short run speed, Jamie, and we just kept getting run over by them. But I thought it would have been really good for the last stage when the long run comes, but we didn't make it that far.
All right, thanks, Brad. Next time we'll see this car is at Michigan. Paul Menard will be in the 12.
Good update there. Saw him at Daytona, as we talked about earlier, and hopefully some better luck when Paul Menard gets behind the wheel. Kind of a home race for him as he heads to Michigan. Of course, Paul from Wisconsin, and we talked about the fact it was a tough stretch of the race for Team Penske. Brad out of the event, and here's teammate Austin Cindric. Didn't bring out the caution, but hit the wall, and they've decided to bring it down pit road and repair the damage. He scored 18th right now, only 19 cars on the lead lap.
What do you think here, Austin? I mean, what are you thinking?
It kind of comes down to stage points, right? Like, I feel like some of these guys are going to try and keep their position for track position to get the stage points, but Kyle has no reason to get stage points, so he's coming down, I feel like, for sure.
I would think even a Kaz Grala, who's not running full-time, Jeffrey Earnhardt not running full-time. You pit, you get your service, and perhaps set yourself up for a good spot when we go green.
Maybe 3 laps to go when we go green, so you're not going to have a lot of laps on your tires here, and fuel mileage probably shouldn't be an issue.
We mentioned the problems for Austin Cindric. There's Kaz Grala in the 21.
Looks like he had a little fender damage up there in his left front.
It's bound to happen as tight as things have been on these restarts here.
Well, this is going to be interesting because, it could come down to 2 strategies, and I think as close as you are to the stage, I think that if you don't pit, you're going to be behind a whole bunch of cars, and what does that do to your chances of winning the race?
A reminder is pit road is now open, and we'll see what everyone does. This is a Dash for Cash qualifier. Next 4 events, there will be an additional $100,000 on the line for all these series regulars. And the top 4 finishers today qualify for the bonus $100,000 next weekend at Bristol. In those positions at this point, Noah Gregson, Justin Allgaier, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer.
If you're Christopher Bell here, you've already won 1 stage. Do you come get tires also and go ahead and make that choice? Or try and stay out and win the stage, another stage?
If guys pit in front of you, do you stay out and kind of steal the stage points? We'll see what they do. Looks like
everybody's going to come
down here. I think
Harv called that.
Crew Chief Kevin Harvick making the call. What's up, Jamie?
Great day for junior motorsports so far. The 7, Justin Allgaier, said he's a little tight in the center of both ends, so they'll make an air pressure adjustment. Noah Gregson, first time here in Xfinity car, leading the field here. You see the wrench in the rear window. They made a track bar adjustment there. Air pressure as well. Needs a little bit more security, Regan.
Leading team car Kyle Busch is just too tight behind race cars and lacks overall grip. It gets free just past the center because of the air in front of him. On the right side of your screen, the 2 of Tyler Reddick. His race car is building too tight, but he wants it to fire off a little bit better.
And that race off pit road goes to Kyle Busch. +2 for him. Gregson drops a spot. Allgaier went in the wrong direction again, and this time it's Tyler Reddick who gains a position to 3rd.
Adam, I learned something every day, and I'm glad I'm in the booth with you guys. Harvick just called that perfectly. I would have never guessed everybody would have came down pit road because of how track position matters here to try and win a stage, but they're so worried about track position for the end of the race, everybody came.
Yeah, you know, I think as you look at that, the track position is important, but your chance to win the race is over because of the speed and everything that is going on today. And I think that the restarts are going to be the most exciting part as we go forward, because as they put new tires on, we saw the aggression pick up on the front road last time as we went into turn run with Kyle Busch and Noah Gregson banging doors. And you know, I think that's going to be the key to winning this race, is staying up front and getting a good restart.
So Austin Cindric back down pit road. Let's learn more about the 20-year-old from Mooresville, North Carolina. Here's Walking and Talking with Regan.
Are you a Star Wars or a Star Trek guy?
Star Wars. Star Wars all the way. I could probably quote every scene of every movie. I'm the Star Wars guy.
We heard there maybe was a little picture of you dressed up for a Star Wars premiere. I don't know what that outfit was. What was that?
So when the Rogue One movie came out, me and Blaney both went to the Mooresville movie theater dressed up in...
Another Star Wars guy.
Another Star Wars guy dressed up in Chewbacca onesies and went to the movie theater, watched the movie.
Did you get any weird looks from that?
It's all right.
I heard you have a little bit of a project car. What's that all about?
I've got a 1990s station wagon that I've pretty much gutted at this point. I'm going to put a Ford Mustang engine in it, 6-speed. It's going to be fast. It's going to be a little dangerous.
So is that going to be your grocery getter then?
It is a grocery getter. I've thought about mounting a TV on the back hatch. I bought the car off I got it on Craigslist and drove it 7 hours back from Kentucky.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, thanks for walking and talking with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
If we were going to play basketball, who would you take first? Would you take Cindric or Regan Smith? I mean, there's a slight height advantage there.
I've seen them both play. I would go the other way. I played with both of them, Austin and Regan. Regan, I'd say he's, you know, probably a 4 out of 10 when it comes to basketball. I've seen him at Juniors League a couple times. Sorry, Regan.
There's going to be 3 laps to go when we finish up stage 2. Ryan Sieg stayed out. So did Ross Chastain and Justin Haley. Now, they're on much older tires. But if they can hang on, and we know that track position means a lot, they could collect some stage points here. Unlikely they're going to hold off Kyle Busch and the others on those fresh tires, but they might be able to steal some points here at the end of stage 2.
Every point matters, and when you look at these two guys, if they can get, you know, 3 or 4 points out of this and you know, gain something from this stage, they're going to wind up being in the exact same spot that they were after we go back, you know, into the final stage here. So it'll be interesting. I think the first corner will definitely have a lot to do with it if they're side by side still, because of the fact that there's the opportunity to get loose on the inside, and the outside has been the lane that succeeded last time. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. They're definitely at a disadvantage.
Chastain came in 8 points below the cut line, so he no doubt would love to pick up some stage points here.
think it's a good call for the 39. You know, where they were running, you could get more points and make a better day for yourself when you leave this place with adding these stage points as a bonus.
And a lot of it just comes down to the break right here. If you can break out from that pack and the chaos for a lap or two, you're going to get a little bit of distance. So if he can break clear of that 4, he can get a little distance, I think.
You got the green button.
And if the 18 and 9 get trapped, that would help him out as well.
Yep. The push here is going to mean something, I feel like, also.
3 laps to go.
Bumper group, bumper, still there, bumper, quarter, clear, 2 back.
Sieg jumps out front.
Pull away.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. If that 4 could hold up the 18 and he could get clear, he's bought himself a little bit of time right here. And we see Kyle struggling a little bit in that top lane. It's got to be from the front tires not gripping in that traction compound.
Yep. I said he likely won't win the stage. Did I sell him short here? 2 to go.
I think he did, man. I'm really pumped about this. Seeing Ryan Sieg out front here with 2 to go. He can carry this bonus point into the playoffs if he's able to hold on to this lead.
Great call by crew chief Shane Wilson. As you see the 7 of Justin Allgaier get out of shape, racing the 00 of Cole Custer.
And you see so many cars that are just out of control right now as we're on this restart. A lot of loose cars, a lot of tight cars, a lot of things happening on the restart from a handling perspective.
Christopher Bell won our first stage from the pole. Stage 2 looks like it's going to go to Ryan Sieg, who has never won a stage in his Xfinity career. This is really fun to watch, and Ross Chastain hanging on to second.
Hard.
Chastain has competed in every NASCAR event this year. Gander Outdoors Truck Series, Xfinity, and Monster Energy NASCAR Cup. He's going to be second in stage number 2 to Ryan Sieg, who sees the green and white checkered flag. Congratulations to him in that race team. So many good things happening for him in 2019.
And it all worked out really, really well for him right there. He got a good restart on the bottom, and the 4 was able to hold that outside line up.
And Reddick hangs on for 3rd. He'll be the race leader when we start the final stage. Could be big for him. We're back after a break. Stage 2 is complete at Texas Motor Speedway. Could we be on our way to another first-time winner? Dale Earnhardt Jr. did it here in 1998. It all worked out for him, picking up a couple of series championships. Same for Kurt Busch in 06. Chase Elliott won here spring of 2014, went on to claim the title as a rookie. And Eric Jones actually running full-time in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series in 2015. Came here for Joe Gibbs Racing and won the spring race 4 years ago. Look at that top 5 to end stage 2. A lot of surprises, and let's not forget about Christopher Bell. Had the speeding penalty. He's rallied back nicely. There you see the drivers that are going for win number 1 in the Xfinity Series. Sieg is now going to get his service, Jamie.
So impressed with Ryan Sieg and what he's done this season and today especially. One of 3 race cars in the fleet for Sieg Racing. The car's pretty good, not loose, very neutral. They're going to leave it alone. Ross Chastain on the right side looking for his first top 10 ever here in an Xfinity car. Finished 7th in the Truck Series race last night. Add a little tape on the grill. Temps are good on the car. Looks like he stalled it. Yep, stalled it on exit, but a 4-tire change for Ross.
And Swan Transportation, I know they're excited to have them on board as a sponsor. And we should point out, JD Motorsports had problems getting here. Chastain's car didn't arrive into the garage until about 50 minutes prior to the start of practice yesterday. This team has overcome a lot, and a real nice job in that second stage.
Hey, Ryan, this is the Fox booth. Congratulations on winning that stage, man. That was awesome. Tell us about the decision to stay out there and what winning a stage means to your team.
Yeah, that's used to get up front and show that, you know, that we didn't lose anything, and cars passed. Just got to get some track position. Just being in traffic and trying to pass people is very hard right now. And the cars got better. We've gotten a better all race, and yeah, that was huge for us.
Well, congratulations, man. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I talked about this prior to the break a while ago, but Tyler Reddick finishing behind those guys, going to make him the race leader when we go green for this final stage in a moment. After After a weekend off, NASCAR Xfinity Series teams back in action today at Texas Motor Speedway. We've completed Stage 1 and Stage 2, and now it's time to settle it as they compete here at TMS for the 37th time in series history. And as we get ready to go for this final stint of the race, it's going to be Tyler Reddick showing the way. Kyle Busch joins him on the front row. So far, there's been a lot to talk about in this race.
Well, the thing that I just saw was the strategy door just opened wide open because of the fact those guys stayed out on tires. And if we get towards the end of this race, obviously I don't think you're going to see anybody pit. But what happens when they do pit next time? Can we put 2 tires on and still compete? What are those left side tires looking like? But those guys did a great job staying out on tires.
What have you learned, Austin?
People will be aggressive when it comes down to calling these last little bit of the race. I'm pumped for T-Red, Tyler Reddick. I hope he gets it done here on the restart, puts himself out front for the last stage.
Is that an existing nickname or something we're breaking out? T-Red.
I don't know. I just had to come up with something for him. Hopefully it sticks.
Okay, we'll see if it happens for him. Reddick is the race leader as we go green here right at the halfway point of this event. Regan?
Well, guys, Tyler Reddick, a little bit of a surprise that he's running as well as he is today. I talked to him right before the race. He had a lot of concern about that race car in the long runs, and especially as rubber went down on this racetrack. Also asked him earlier in the weekend, I said, hey, man, RCR has been very good, and in particular, Daniel Hemrick was good here in the fall. How pumped up are you, and how much did you talk about this racetrack? He said, honestly, we didn't talk about it at all until him and Hemrick had a discussion earlier this week. Hemrick told him about how good the cars were. Then he started getting excited to come to Texas this weekend.
Reddick has no doubt been the best Xfinity driver this year without a victory.
My water bottle still has ice in it. It's kind of crazy.
Well, if you'd run it a little bit harder if I heat it up.
If you look at the stat book for the restarts of people passing people today, I guarantee you I've won that.
I'm just kidding. Doing great. Keep doing exactly what you're doing.
Some friendly fire between Tab Boyd, the spotter, and driver Jeff Burton, who's really been solid this afternoon.
I've got something that I just have to ask Austin.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about basketball skills earlier.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Regan was a 4. Was that because he can't jump, or he's too slow?
Oh, man. I don't think he's too slow. I think it's just the other things about basketball that
he can't shoot?
Shooting, yeah, that would probably be it. But we did have a conversation at the break. I gave him the edge over Austin Cindric.
Okay.
Defend yourself, Regan. Are you a hooper?
I am not a hooper. I thought a 4 was actually a very generous number for me, so I appreciate that, Austin. And I got to defend myself by saying I played in a beer-drinking league. Every beer you drank added a point. I was a star player.
This is true, and I got kicked out of that league. Dale Jr. called me and said I was not allowed to play in the league because I took it too serious. I'm still bummed about it, actually.
He's got that baseball cap on today. Maybe he's a better shortstop than he is a point guard. What do you think?
Yeah, what, is he a Rockies fan?
He's a Rockies fan.
Okay.
We'll see how they do this year.
Time for the restart. Reddick, Busch, we talked about. Gregson having a great day is 3rd. Bell back up. Actually, Bell is 3rd. Gregson is 4th. Then you got Custer and Burton. Here we go. Final stage at Texas. Bell taking advantage.
Back to 2, still inside.
Incredible dive to the inside for driver 20, who's back to the lead.
3-2.
How about the draft right there on the backstretch? It was huge. Running side by side, that 3rd guy, he had a big advantage.
Yeah, and Kyle was able to get to Reddick's bumper, and then all of a sudden that huge draft took effect, and he just rode it all the way into turn 3, and those guys had no choice but to let off a little bit.
Yeah. T-Red from the lead to 3rd. C. Bell from 3rd to the number 1 position.
You guys are going to start confusing me. I'm going to have to start thinking, and that's going to be a problem.
I got it right once, now I'm out of the game.
Jeff Burton talked about his restarts have been pretty solid all day. He's back to 4th. That's a good restart for him.
You don't think he'll remind Tab Boyd of that, do you?
I think he will.
Good ways back to Burton in 4th. John Hunter Nemechek in the top 5. He's been quiet in the 23, but certainly delivering. On board with Haley. There goes the 81 of Earnhardt by.
Seven's on his bumper. Stay with it.
go. Allgaier was 15th. He's worked his way back into the top 10.
He's had to battle some adversity on some of these restarts and also pit stops. So he's got a fast car. I really think if he gets to the front, he's going to be one of the guys to beat.
Got the momentum. You're in the 7 only.
I like both these drivers. Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier. And for second, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch battling hard right of your screen.
It just doesn't seem like Kyle's car is where he wants it on the restarts, obviously. And I don't know exactly what they're fighting, but it definitely takes him 10 or 12 laps to get that car where he wants it to be.
Earlier in the day, he talked about forward drive at the beginning of the run, and getting that air pressure right can really help if he can get it later.
Man, it's so interesting to listen to Cole's in-car camera right there going through 3 and 4. Just a little bitty lift going through the corner, and over here you're going to hear all the way out of the throttle. Yeah. And you just got to wait to get that car right to the white line and just start squeezing back into the throttle to hope that car starts to rotate off the corner with enough grip and be able to carry enough speed through the center of the corner under the exit.
Christopher Bell speeding penalty is back in the race lead, and his teammate Brandon Jones into stage 1 took the jack with him. That's a no-no, but he too is rallied, running 6th right now.
And that car has been just really, really fast all year. And I think as you look at Brandon Jones, he's done a good job just looking for that first win still.
And the 9 of Noah Gregson has lost some track position. What's their story, Jamie?
Well, that restart, the draft was in full effect for the 9 of Noah Gregson. He washed up a bit and he got stuck on the outside, and there was no hope for him to drop back down. He got shuffled all the way back to 11th. Remember, he led 13 laps earlier. He's got a little work to do now, saying his car is so loose.
And Austin, I think that goes back to talking about those loose cars, but I think when you talk about, oh yeah, that's not fun, very uncomfortable. But we've seen that from him from the beginning of the race, but it takes that traction compound 4 or 5 laps to really get run in and get some heat back in it in order to have enough grip to make good lap time up there.
Right, I don't know what the aero balance is compared to some of our other trucks in the Cup Series, but it seems like these guys are having a harder time running the outer groove at the beginning of a run. You saw in the Truck Series last night, guys could run side by side for a couple laps out there, and these cars seem to not have had that best of luck running it until late in the run, like we're talking about when the traction compound gets the heat in it. I'm sure the 9 will start working back forward later in the run.
Let's update the 39 of Ryan Sieg. Wins stage 2, gives up all that track position when he makes a pit stop. They're right back in the game here in 12th.
Well, he got that stage point, and you know, the bonus point that goes with that. And I think, you know, that was a win-win for them. I think they're running about where they were running before they stayed out and won that stage. So
actually, it was 14th, so he's +2.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit fresher tires maybe and had a good restart.
Casgrala is 14th, and there's a reason why, losing some positions just outside the top 10 here. We've seen that a lot down in that corner.
Everybody, everything okay?
Yeah, this is real loose. I think I've been too conservative on my numbers. We're going to take a bigger stab at it. Yesterday we were really fast and we were tight. Today we've been free all day, and it's been killing us.
Is that a weather thing?
I think the toughest thing is he hasn't ran a lot this year. Understanding the balance of the car and what he's needing, the conversation. Like he said, I need to bump my numbers up. He's talking about his numbers on a 1 to 10 scale where he's too loose or too tight. He might have been giving them the cars a little less neutral. And as a new guy coming to the team, you don't want to tell him, hey, I'm not this, but you have to be aggressive to get where your car needs to be. And that's what he's talking about. He'll be more aggressive. Hopefully they get another chance to adjust on that car to get it better for him late in this race.
And this is a racetrack where you have to be able to tug on the wheel in order to make good lap time through 3 and 4. But you also have to balance it with being able to tug on the wheel and make it through the center of the corner to make good lap time in 1 and 2.
We've crossed halfway at Texas. 90 laps to go. Christopher Bell is the race leader. 85 laps remaining for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Texas. A look at our PNC biggest movers fitting top of the chart since the restart is Austin Cindric, +5 for driver 22. Remember, he hit the wall. They had to repair damage, made a number of pit stops, and he's right back in the game. Good execution by Allgaier, Ryan Sieg, and others since the restart as well. A lot of guys you see here young kids that just flat out don't mind going after it on a restart.
Well, the other thing that they have going for them is these 5-star bodies, these composite bodies that pop right back out. And Austin Cindric and his group was able to get that right front fender back out and looking good. And he's able to keep going with some new tires and making a move forward.
The advantage for Christopher Bell with just over 80 to go. Just under a second, and you see what his day has been like. Led those first 48 laps from the pole, lost all that track position back around 20th when he had the speeding penalty, but they have come back strong, Regan.
Well, Christopher Bell in the car has been very quiet on the radio, but spotter Tony Hirschman, take a listen to this.
He tried second groove, lost ground. He's a little wider entry, not sure how your entry is. Quarter groove wider both ends, not much. Good. He tracked you. He gets to the line, maybe 3/4 car length a little bit later, and he's making the ground center to 5/8 on the bend. I like that. That was a little better. Kept it even all the way through.
Always good to have a veteran spotter that can help guide you through what's happening with the cars behind you. That was him describing to Christopher where the cars behind him are running differently on the racetrack. That can be big later on in this race if he's got to defend and take the air from those cars.
Yeah, especially, Regan, at a track that is so groove sensitive as we've seen Texas is here today.
And you can see the 2-car. He's been searching the last couple laps here, moving up, trying to make it work, but it just didn't seem to have the ability that it needs up there yet to really make ground on that low line on the 20 he's using.
Yeah, and I think that the guy that's the fastest right now is probably the 18 car. He's been working that second groove probably more than anybody, and he caught these guys, and we talked about how he struggled at the beginning of the run, but once that thing gets warmed up a little bit and he gets a few laps on those tires, thing starts coming forward and making up time.
Are you surprised that Kyle Busch hasn't spent more time in the lead today?
You know, I think it's come down to him not having that clean air, and as we talked, it's a little difficult to pass, you know, the faster cars when you don't have that clean air.
John Hunter Nemechek, 4th here in the fall, 4th right now, Jamie.
Yeah, he decided to join the top 5 party. He was kind of mired most of the first half of the race in the top 10, but doing a nice job right now. He told me earlier that he's really had to change his mindset. This is the first time he's running for a championship. He said, I can't just focus on what I need here in practice or what I need in qualifying. I need to think about the race. And today he's thinking ahead for how his car will respond later in the race. They've made nice adjustments. The car is the best it's been all day right now.
I think we jinxed it because as soon as we celebrated his 4th, he dropped to 5th, and that's because Brandon Jones starting to flex his muscles late. Yeah. We have known for quite some time this 19 has got something for him.
They do, and you know, right now it comes down to the details of getting on and off pit road and doing all the little things right in order to get to victory lane, because that's, in my opinion, that's really the next step that Brandon Jones needs to take. And go in that direction to win a race are the details of a weekend, because he has a car that's fast enough to be in victory lane.
And back to John Hunter right there. I'm really impressed with what he's been able to do with that GMS team. He is the sole leader of that team right now in the Xfinity Series, and to have I think a 2nd place finish at Vegas and then come back right here running 5th, he's doing a great job out there.
I know that they've been a little bit disappointed in their results at times, but today it's been really nice. And there's the 9 of Noah Gregson making up positions and getting one here from his teammate Jeb Burton. And Jeb may be back to 9th, but I want to go back to what this team has accomplished this year. I said it, 5 different drivers in 6 races, and only 1 time have they been outside the top 10, and that's when Zane Smith got caught up in an accident. I think they've overachieved in the early portion of the year.
Well, I don't think Jeb Burton can walk out of here with anything but positive thoughts after the way that things have gone this weekend. I don't care how the rest of the race.
Oh, look out. Justin Allgaier, another one of the junior motorsports cars, around through the grass, and the caution is out for the 7th time today.
All right, keep rolling here.
He was 6th.
Watch the road speed here.
When it got away from him.
I think the last time we saw him, he was racing tight with Cole Custer.
Outside of him, green car 08, that's Greg Alding. Could that be wind related at all, coming off of turn 4 where you pick up that tailwind?
I think that was just a situation where Justin Allgaier was underneath the lap car, got loose, and as he was getting loose, Cole got closer and he just continued to get looser. But the amazing part to me right there is not one car touched each other. They were really, really close to each other, but I don't think anybody touched anybody. That was all the air.
Despite sliding through the grass, it doesn't look like there was much damage on the 70.
No, he's fine.
The view from Cole Custer's car.
Easy. Just keep easy. Let him get out of your way. Keep coming. One above you. Real nice job. I did not see you slide him. Nice job, bud.
That was one heck of a save. Here's Allgaier on the radio.
Sorry. That 08 just didn't give me any room, and I tried to save it, but I'm so unstable right now. I couldn't.
Yeah, a lot of times what happens when a car gets that sideways and another car is coming up on him, the air off the front of Cole Custer's car almost just pushes this car all the way around. Cole's trying to let off. You heard in the in-car there, but man, that is really, really close. I don't think anybody got a mark.
Yeah, that's tough right there. You talk about that edge that we talked about earlier. He's already free. He's told his crew chief, I was already too loose, and I tried to make the pass.
What's up, Jamie?
Yeah, and it's interesting because the 7 started the day out, was not complaining, loved the balance of the car, it was turning well, and just a couple of laps before this incident, the 7 came on the radio and said, we're on the splitter too much, super unstable, and I just don't get it. So the handling has just gone away on the car, and you saw it there, but nice save, by the way.
Well, I think one thing that probably Justin can't account for is what's going on outside right now. We've got a little sun peeking out, and you can see it here in the booth. It's just starting to peek out, and that can change the balance of your race car.
73 laps to go. Everyone should have 2 sets of tires, but you can't go the distance from here. Do you think about pitting and saving a set, or do you wait till you're in your window to come down under green? What do you guys think?
If it was me and I was guessing, because I'm a driver and I guess a lot, I would guess that they probably will come down and put their tires on and then maybe fuel only if you get another caution in your window. So it's a track position game at this point.
And it has been roughly 35 laps since they've been on pit road, so 440 for some. If you don't pit here, you walk yourself into a corner if we do get a green flag.
And I think you got to count on more cautions. I think you have to count on more cautions, so I would say they're going to pit.
Likely the case, and pit road will be open here. Bell, Reddick, Busch, Jones, and Nemechek. And they're all heading down, Jamie.
John Hunter Nemechek raced his way into the top 5. Got a little on the snug side there as he ran. He wants some lateral grip in that 23. They'll make an air pressure adjustment, put 4 fresh tires on it, and fill them up. They're all in, Regan.
Well, the 20 car of our leader, Christopher Bell, his race car is a little bit free in and a little bit tight in the center of 1 and 2. Jason Ratcliffe just simply gave him a 10-4, like I'm not going to change the race car very much because it's leading the race. Second place car of Tyler Reddick, his car is too tight. Earlier in the run, we see him on the left side of the screen, and then he frees up a little bit as he goes.
Tight race off pit road. And it goes to Tyler Reddick, that number 1 pit stall. All good for T-Red. Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones, hold serve. Cole Custer, the 5th one to come off. 72 laps to go at Texas.
Back here in our Race Hub studios, Shannon Spake, Larry McReynolds, Jamie McMurray. Before this race started, we talked about the fact that this could be a wild ride out there in Texas. We've seen caution after caution. We've pretty much predicted that this is how it would go.
Yeah, we've had 7 cautions, including 2 stage ends. It's like these drivers are right on the edge. We've had a lot of single car wrecks, most notably Ray Black Jr. in that 07 car, a hard lick down in turns 1 and 2. It's like these guys are right on the edge every lap.
Yeah, I think part of the reason they're on the edge is that we talk about how much grip this track has, but the one thing about this tire combination and track is that it has a lot of grip, but you can't really slide the car. As soon as the car starts sliding, it's super hard to catch.
A few minutes ago, I asked you if Christopher Bell could get back up to the front.
And I said no.
You said no after overcoming that pit road speeding penalty. What's going to stop him from winning this race now?
Well, I mean, he's got to have a good restart, and we saw on the last restart, he went from 3rd to 1st in 1 straightaway, so his car feels good on the restarts. We heard Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, they've struggled a little bit on the restart, so I think think if he can have a good restart, he's going to be really hard to pass.
The good news is it's not been the Kyle Busch show. As we also predicted, these young guys, including Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick, they are giving him a run for the money today.
We're talking nicknames up there, right? Adam, T-Red, we've got C-Bell, so double A. That's easy, right? That's an easy one?
That is, and I'm going to go Mr. Glass half empty. That would be Jamie McMurray, who says there's no way that Christopher Bell is going to get back to the front.
And they look like little minions there in the studio. Those little screens, the screens are so big, you guys look like little minions in there.
Look like your commercial.
Yeah.
Going to be 69 laps remaining when we return to the green flag.
Tyler has switched his decision here and chose the inside line. He took the outside last. It didn't work out. 20 took the lead from him. See if the bottom prevails for him on this restart.
Reddick's got 2 poles this year. Last one coming 2 weeks ago in California. That's how we do pit selections for this race. That's why he had the #1 stall. That could be huge throughout the rest of this event.
Yeah, and here the timing line is very close to the end of that #1 stall, so it's a huge advantage to have that first pit stall here.
Michael Annett 6 for the restart, as good as he's been in quite a while.
Roll to him. Draw off now, draw off. Make him chase. Outside tight door. Quarter. Door. Still just you two. Quarter clear. Clear. Roll. One back.
It took a while, but Reddick finally cleared him. And now Kyle Busch going after Christopher Bell for second. Trouble. It's the 19 of Brandon Jones and the 00 of Cole Custer.
Hold up there.
8th caution of the day.
Hold up there. Coming under you. You okay?
I'm all good.
You okay, bud?
Lost it under him.
Yeah, it's a product of this deal. He was really tight on you. I got stuff coming to you there. Don't worry about trying to get out until they get there.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that on these restarts today.
Well, it's not over yet. And
That's right.
I think as we get closer to the end of these races, there's going to be less give, and I think this is a product of what can happen on the bottom, because the cars, like Jamie was talking coming back from the break there, they get edgy, and when they go, they're gone. And it's really hard to race underneath guys because of the fact that it's edgier than it normally is because the air comes off the car. Oh, he's sideways already. That happened way earlier in the corner. Yeah, and this is, like Austin talked earlier, this is a very interesting entrance into the corner. And sometimes when you turn the car off in there, the entry's so flat that you lose the back almost off as you turn off the wall, all the way down to the center of the corner. And when there's a car out there, you just wind up being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And when you're that outside guy, there's such an advantage to the side track until that happens. When you get loose underneath a guy, he's going with you most of the time.
Yeah, and when that outside guy, when you're the inside guy and that outside guy is coming back forward, as he's coming forward on the car, it pulls the back of the inside car around, and that's really, I think, what happened right there. Cole was probably fine when he turned in, but Brandon kind of rolled faster than he did coming into the corner, and it pulls the back of that car around with it as he went by.
Great look at it right there. And great execution from our production group, all the camera folks who are out in the elements today. Very windy and cold day in Texas. We appreciate all they bring each and every week.
And those sounds from the impacts inside those cars, they really tell the story of how violent that is. And I can't even explain to you how violent it is in the car, because it happens so fast that you don't even realize what happens.
Brandon Jones able to drive away, but a lot of damage, Regan.
Well, they gave it a valiant effort. They pulled the car down to the pit stall like they were going to try to repair it and get him back out there. But as our camera work showed, there's no repairing this race car. The crew guys immediately started shaking their head to crew chief Jeff Mendering on top of the pit box. Their day is going to be done here.
And you see the website there, jdgibbslegacy.com. We continue to think about the Gibbs family and their loss in the offseason. And a salute to all those who were bundled up today. We got a great group at NASCAR on Fox. It has been an eventful afternoon in Texas, to say the least, for Christopher Bell. Won the pole, led the first 48 laps. He takes stage one. That's the good news. Bad news is he got a speeding penalty and he had to go to work.
And I feel like this is where it turned around, because he had a really good coach up here in Austin telling him it was going to be okay.
Yeah, you know, the last 3 races that he has won the first stage in, he's been able to win. So he's pumped up trying to keep that streak alive. Done a good job coming back up through the pack.
Final stage, he drives by the competition to get the lead on the restart, but then lost it moments ago.
Yeah, and I think what happens right here is he's committed to try to run wide open, and on low tires, you can see the front of this car just kind of bounce off the ground a little bit and probably got a little bit tight and had to lift out the gas, and old T-Red goes right by.
He's paddling hard.
Tyler Reddick on point today. He's been out front for 14 circuits. 78 laps led for Christopher Bell. That's the most of anybody. Sandwiched in between in that category, the man riding third, Kyle Busch, who comes in today looking for his 3rd win of the year and trying to sweep the weekend. Had a victory here, a hard-earned victory last night in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Been sensational all year there.
So, you know, if you want to keep that view the rest of the day, I'd be fine with that. You know what? Just for you, I'll try and stay here. What a guy.
Once again, Reddick going to take the inside lane for the restart here. And these restarts, I think, just going to get better and better, because, Kevin, you predict there's going to be more cautions. And this is where the race likely is going to be decided, the restart and then gaining that track position.
Well, there's going to be a lot less take, or a lot more take and a lot less give as we go on these restarts. So it's just go time, and everybody's trying to keep themselves in position on these restarts to better themselves. And the only way to do that is to get more aggressive. So the aggression level is going to keep going up.
Yeah, it is. Clean air means so much, and that's why the aggression is way up, heightened each time you see a restart. And it's going to be interesting coming down to the end to see who can keep the clean air the longest.
What's going on with the foundation right now? We always appreciate you coming to the booth and letting us know what's happening outside the racetrack, Austin.
Yeah, Children's Institute for Pediatric Trauma has been awesome. You know, watching them really go out and teach first responders how to respond to an incident when a child either doesn't have a helmet on. And we go out there and we provide helmets to kids also to teach them to wear helmets, because as I was a kid, I know I was wild and out of control, and I needed to know that helmet is needed. So they've done a lot, Children's Institute, over the years, and it's always fun to work with them.
And you guys raise a lot of money with your basketball tournament to support that, right?
Yeah, we've had a good time with the 3-on-3 tournament. I think we're going to take a break off this year and change it up a little bit, do something different. So we've had a good time with it, though.
Well, I think you've got a good player.
Anytime he wants to come to the 3-on-3 tournament, I'll definitely put him on someone else's team. But maybe they'll be stacked.
If you're taking the year off, he's got some time to get his game in order. But it is great to have you with us, a series champion, and thanks for being here today. And certainly good luck as we see you guys on track here tomorrow. And down now to 62 laps remaining. Some guys made pit stops there. Now, should we get these cautions that we anticipate, I think those drivers might be able to make it, could shake things up at the end of this event.
Well, for sure, because, you know, I think we're going to have more cautions. I think this is going to come down to a restart game, and you're going to have to miss the wrecks as we get towards the end. Now, I've been wrong a lot. We could have a green flag run, and you just never know how it's going to go, but it definitely opens a window for them.
Look at Jeb Burton restarting 4th right here. See what he can do with that positioning he's in.
To the lead off of turn 2.
2x2 in your mirror, your entry.
Burton hanging with Busch into 3.
Clear on the exit.
The 18 gave the 2 a great push, but I think it got him a little loose down in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think it was close enough to the back of the 2 car.
You're going to be up front. All good.
I think that the 2 car got loose because the 18 was so close to him, kind of took the air off the back of that car, and he got loose. And Kyle gets really loose.
What a save.
Inside.
So much momentum lost.
Down here, got to run 23 coming. Bumper, inside.
And this has been Kyle's weakness all day, is just trying to hang on to that car on the restarts. We've seen that, you know, lap 7 or 8, he can get going, but just a great save by Kyle Busch.
Reddick not letting Bell get away here.
And really, that's the same thing that's happened, that has resulted in all these wrecks that we've seen all day. There just happened to not be anybody there that time.
And for most, that would have been a caution.
The race for the lead is getting hot right now. Two-car took a peek off of turn 4 this last lap. See if he has another run down the backstretch right here.
And right now, both of these guys are within, a half a tenth of their fastest laps of the race. So that tells you where the conditions are right now. They're still really fast.
Kyle has fallen back to 9th. And what we're seeing here reminds me so much of what we witnessed a few weeks ago at Las Vegas. These two young, talented drivers are going to be competing for the championship, just flat going at it. Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick.
And what we learned at Las Vegas, neither one of them is going to give. I mean, they are going to stand on the gas and do everything they can to put themselves in position to win, even if it means sometimes taking a chance of wrecking the car. And for us, that's exciting to watch.
Yeah, they're not going to give, and they're not going to back down no matter who they're racing.
T-Red and C-Bell are going to put on a show to the end right here. I'm looking forward to it. You can just tell that they're fighting for that air. The two cars doing everything it can to stick that left front out just a little bit on entry to gain some aero advantage.
And he's better. His car is, Tyler Reddick's car is better right now, and I feel like it's just turning and finishing the center of the corner a little bit better than Christopher Bell's is right now. But as these laps go by, it just becomes a little bit more difficult to make the pass, and that's why I think you're going to see the urgency of everything that he's trying to do to make this pass happen right as quick as possible.
That air starts building up in those front tires, and it gets more and more difficult to make the pass.
Kyle trying to come back, working over Noah Gregson. That's for 8th, right of your screen. A lot of good racing all around the track, but just can't get away from what we see at the front. Nels led 86 laps today, 16 for Reddick. And Cole Custer has walked from the infield care center. Let's hear from the 00, Jamie.
And we saw Cole Custer get together with Brandon Jones there, and you're done for the day. Was that just a product of these wild restarts today?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because you got to get all you can get on restarts because it's so hard to pass after a couple laps. But, I thought our Jacob Company's Mustang was pretty solid. Just didn't have the restarts to go for us. So I was trying to be aggressive there and just pushed it too hard, trying to get a pass completed. And, I hate it for our guys. I don't, like to tear up race cars like that, but just trying to get too much on a restart.
First DNF of the season for Cole Custer.
But another one of these young drivers, Jamie, like we talked about with Reddick and Bell, he's just going to go after it. Good news for Custer. He won at California, so he's locked into the playoffs. So the lead is stabilized a bit. I want to remind everyone about Justin Allgaier. Wasn't long ago he was spinning off of turn 4.
Where did he come from?
He's up to 4th.
He's got that thing dialed back in after that spin through the grass.
And Justin Haley had some problems, got damaged when he made that contact with Brad Keselowski. He's 5th. Austin Cindric hit the wall. He's 11th right now. And I think Austin, as we check the scoreboard, is one of those drivers, yes, he pitted at lap 136 under that last caution. So they're kind of playing that fuel mileage game. If it stays green, they might be in a position here to go. Unlikely. They're outside the window, but you never know if you can save on a long run. Let's go back to Jamie.
And Brandon Jones has been checked and released. Such a fast car coming into this race. Started on the front row, but what happened with you and Cole there?
Yeah, that's twice this year with the same car. I don't know. I guess I played too nice, and I think if you give drivers respect, you should get it back. But we're still early in the year here. I hate it. We had a really, really fast car this weekend all week long. Everyone did a heck of a job. So we got another race in Texas in the fall, and we'll try to make something of that.
Lead change, Adam.
Indeed, Tyler Reddick to the inside of Christopher Bell. Top spot on the line. 49 laps to go.
And this is where it gets interesting when we get to 3 and 4, because that traction compound has come in on the second groove, and it's just how loose does Reddick's car get down there.
Same thing, you can roll back to him here on exit. About 3 back now to the 8.
And with them racing side by side, here comes Jeb Burton in the 8. And Burton does have a win here in the Truck Series. 3-man dance for the lead at Texas.
You can tell how loose that 2-car gets when the 20's on his door. That side draft's really working in the 20's favor right now.
You feel like if Reddick can get by, he's going to pull away?
Yeah. Kevin said he had a faster car earlier, and I believe that I'd stick by that. I don't know how he's going to clear him. He might have to use the outside like the 20 is to him right now.
And I think the longer that this run goes, I think that the 2 cars turn in the center of the corner is going to show up more of it. Then he slips up the racetrack a little bit right there. But, you know, as Austin talked earlier, as that air pressure builds up in those front tires, it just becomes more difficult, and you start depending on a mistake from the guy in front of you, and at that same time you have to hit your marks. And I think that that's going to have to happen in turns 1 and 2 if it's going to happen at all, because he needs to clear him.
Yeah, that was a heck of a battle really for the 20 to maintain pace. I felt like the 2 had a big run there.
I just like that Burton's hanging tight. All guy are back in the mix. Some great stories inside the top 10 with 46 laps remaining.
To the fans who've been here from the beginning and the new ones along the way, to those who've witnessed history and those who've made their own, you've made the last 50 years go by fast, and we're not slowing down. This is Talladega. Just when you thought the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR couldn't get any better, we broke ground on Transformation, the Talladega Superspeedway infield project to enhance the fan experience. Check it out in 2019 if you're big and bad enough.
You have to be perfect. Every week matters, every one of them. Nothing ever goes to plan.
I can't see.
I put a helmet on and I become a different person.
It's going to get crazy. Freaking idiot.
Being able to go that fast and make split-second decisions. It's 140 degrees inside the race car, and you can't afford to make a mistake. If you're not tired, you didn't drive hard enough.
Okay, look, if you're not the lead dog, the scenery never changes. That's why this is the view for every other full-size pickup. And this year, it's deja vu all over again. Because only the Ford F-150 with its high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body gives you best-in-class torque, best-in-class payload, and you got it, baby, best-in-class towing. Still leading the pack. This is the big dog. This is the Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Don't you get the best price booking at one of those travel sites?
They tell you that, but when you book at Hilton.com, you get the price match guarantee. So if you find your room at a lower rate, Hilton is like, we're gonna match that rate and give you an extra 25% off.
What would travel sites do if you found a better price?
That's not my problem. It's your problem. Get out of here.
Wow, really felt that performance.
It's just acting. I'm really good at it. Book at Hilton.com and get the Hilton price match guarantee. If you find a lower rate, we match it and give you 25% off that stay.
This year, on the track, contact made! New names will become worthy of the spotlight. The NASCAR Xfinity Series. Names are made here.
Just over 40 laps remaining here at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Christopher Bell, I wouldn't say he's pulling away, but he's gained some ground on second place Tyler Reddick. The advantage is 0.6 of a second. Almost 2 seconds behind is Jeb Burton. And Kyle Busch back in the top 5 is 5th, but he's almost 4 seconds behind the leader. There's a look at Kyle Busch, and back in the 8th spot right now, Kaz Gralla, Regan.
Well, just to update Kaz, they pitted on that last caution at lap 136. I just went down and confirmed with that team. They can make it to the end of this race. They are right on their
number. That is something to watch out for until the remainder of this race. If it goes green, he's the furthest up running cars that pitted on that lap 136 caution. Austin Cindric in the 22 car, they confirmed they can also make it. They're right on their number, so potentially developing story here, guys.
Cindric in a Ford, Chase Briscoe in a Ford. He too pitted at lap 136, so we'll keep an eye on that with 39 remaining. Allgaier trying to get back on the podium. And on board with Burton, we've mentioned his good day. State Water Heaters is the sponsor. They've been around with his family for a long, long time. Let's hear from Chase Briscoe and his bunch.
When do you, where are we at on fuel?
I should run out coming off of 4.
Need to save about a lap, probably, or two. I mean, breathe it.
10-4. The only one on our same seal is the 21 and the 22 behind us.
You want to save a little here?
I would say no.
Yeah, so saving fuel here it's kind of a difficult place because of how wide open you are in 3 and 4. But the place to do it, in my mind, is turn 1 and 2. You can really roll out early, use no brake, coast. It'll help the front tires. Sometimes when you do that, I've found in the past that you pick up speed.
Well, that's the balance between how much speed do you lose and how much can you let off the throttle. But you're exactly right. In my opinion, I agree with you because of the fact that you can let so far out of the throttle and roll around there. And sometimes you do learn something that you can roll a pretty long ways and still run pretty close to the lap time.
Kyle up to 4th. Next guy he'll see on track is Jeb Burton. Jamie?
I don't think we could talk enough about Jeb Burton and what he's done. This is his first Xfinity Series race of the year, and I talked to him for a while yesterday as he sees that 18 getting closer, dropping to the inside to try to get around him, and Kyle makes the pass. But Jeb told me this is his best opportunity. He'll have 5 races this year with the team, and he also said there are open races. So if he runs well, there's potential to run more races, and I think he's doing a heck of a job today. They've just been trying to focus on their long run, though, and get it better. You see it starting to go away now as we're getting longer into this run.
And Jamie, he wishes he had Bristol on the schedule because today is a Dash for Cash qualifier. If he's one of those top 4 series regulars here, he could go for $100,000 next week. But since he's not entered for the race in East Tennessee, that would make the drivers eligible next week. Bell, Reddick, Allgaier, and Nemechek as they run on track. Annette in the 1, the 21 of Gralla, and just behind Chase Briscoe.
Well, we talked about fuel strategy. Chase Briscoe is the guy that's leading that was close. That was leading the charge of the guys who have already pitted that think they can make it on fuel. So if they all have to pit, Chase Briscoe could be the guy that winds up leading this race.
That is definitely a challenge for the spotter right there. They all blend in pretty good.
Yeah.
Which car are you driving? I'm driving the one that's white, orange, and red. Noah Gregson has joined that group as well. 33 laps to go. The battle for the lead is good, and the question of fuel mileage is on. A lot to decide when we return to Texas. We're live at Texas Motor Speedway on a Saturday afternoon. Good to have you with us on FS1 with Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon. I'm Adam Alexander. 27 to go for these NASCAR Xfinity Series teams. Christopher Bell owns the lead. Tyler Reddick is second. Kyle Busch is third and chipping away at that top spot. And maybe this is the reason why Bell having to work some lap traffic, and sometimes it gets exciting. Oh, that's Brandon Brown in the 86. He's 19th right now, being shown the first car 1 lap down.
Well, I'm sure that the caution will come out as soon as I say this, but this has a green flag feel to it.
Now it does.
And, you know, once we got past the restarts where, you know, it had that feel of everybody getting aggressive and causing more cautions, this is really going to get interesting because of the fact that we have a few cars that think they can make it on fuel. Chase Briscoe, let's see here, Kaz Gralla,
Austin Cindric, those 3 right now.
Jeffrey Earnhardt and Austin Cindric. So, Austin, you made a good point. It sounds like some of those guys on the radio think that they're pretty close on fuel, and it looks to me like Austin Cindric might be the guy that's kind of pacing himself, trying to save some fuel. So we'll have to see if Chase Briscoe and some of these guys can make it running the pace that they are.
Justin Haley last pitted at 128. They're 7th right now.
Keep digging hard here, buddy. 26 to go. We're about 10 laps shy on gas. We're running about 3 seconds at the end. But it's going to be about 10 to go. Still got 16 laps. Need a car
desperately here to stay in the hunt.
And all those guys in front of him, first to sixth, they all too pitted at lap 128. So you got to believe everyone in that group is going to have to come back down for a splash. There's the 21 of Kaz Grala. He's among those that pitted at 136 and feels like he can make it from here.
Well, I feel like they may be backing him up a little bit, and I think that's the thing that they need to do with the 98 car right now is start backing him up and saving some fuel, because he's got a gap between himself and Kaz Grala, and that's the car that he needs to race, and they're 4 spots apart on the racetrack, so he needs to race the pace at this particular point, not the 98 car of Chase Briscoe, and not put himself in a box that he can't get out of, and save the gas now.
Yeah, he doesn't really gain anything by staying in front of the one of Annette and the 9 of Gregson.
No, you're racing the guys that's in your window, right? You got to make it to the end. Justin Alexander knows as good as anyone. He was my crew chief at Charlotte, and we were able to make that race happen on fuel mileage. So listening to him on the radio will be important for Kaz when it comes down late into the race on where to lift and talking through him that process.
And there you see the top 10 and when they last pitted, and paying off your point that Chase Briscoe right now is top in that category.
Yeah, but his lap times have not changed, and right now the team needs to tell him to slow down, because the only car he needs to race is the 21 car. Do not cut it close. You have to slow that 98 car down.
And we just got word that the message has been relayed to Chase. Back off, save fuel. And his crew chief is Richard Boswell, and this combination won together on a strategy call at the Roval last fall, so they're no stranger to pulling off something like that.
All they have to do right now is manage that gap to the 21 car or whoever the guy is on the same strategy. That's the only thing they need to think about right now. How fast you go doesn't matter. Just start letting off and save gas.
For Bell, the lead 1.2 seconds. How big of a factor are the lap cars right now?
Lap cars, every one of them is dangerous for the leader because he's the sitting duck. You catch a lap car the wrong way, and that second place guy is there. He's on your back bumper. And for these guys that are racing right now without the caution, getting when to pit and how hard you get on the green flag pit stop to get on pit road is going to be key coming late.
Yeah, and I hate to keep going back to the fuel mileage thing with the 98, but he slowed down 1 second that last lap. And what happens when you're trying to manage that gap, saving fuel, is you want to take those big chunk laps to where you run 2 seconds off the pace and you're out of the throttle and try to get some of those savings while you can manage that gap to the car behind you.
It's all about managing that gap and making sure you can kind of trend your lap times the same once you find pickup points on the track to lift at.
You know, Kyle Busch has been drifting right around 3.2 to 2.9 seconds behind Bell. But I think he's going to need a caution and a reset if he's going to have a chance to win this thing.
Yeah, these guys are not even in the race for the win right now if the caution doesn't come out. And you know, really the guys that are in are the guys that pitted on lap 136. So those are the only guys that are in contention to win the race unless the caution comes out.
What's the latest on Grala, Regan?
Well, you guys hit the nail right on the head. They have him lifting into turn 1 early to save about a lap's worth of fuel. They are not even worrying about the 98 right now. They're strictly worrying about their race car and what they have to do to get to the end. They'll worry about him when the time comes with a couple laps to go.
And that is great strategy. Run your numbers and run your lap times that you need to run and see how it plays out against the other guy. Because regardless, Kaz Grala is going to get a great finish if he finishes this race running. And you know, he's been pacing himself. The 98 car just ran a 29.76. That's only 2/10 slower than what he had been running before, and he needs to back way further off than that unless the fuel is better than we think it is.
Jeffrey Earnhardt also made his last pit stop at 136. He's 12th right now.
Yeah, in Jeffrey Earnhardt's case, it's like, okay, how much fuel have I saved? I know the guy in front of me is saving fuel. Should I run a couple laps as hard as I can run to get by this guy and then back him up? That's probably, you want to try to get the track position so that you're in control of the pace in your car and knowing how much you can back up but be in front of that guy. So if he has the ability to run faster right now, he probably should get that track position and then back up.
And the other factor is who saved the most at the beginning.
That's right.
Who's been doing it the entire time, so you can have a little bit more when it comes down to 3 to go to just press that gas pedal a little bit more than what you feel like you should be able to.
15 to go. Scheduled green flag pit stop for Noah Gragson. putting right side tires on, and we had speculated they might do fuel only just to splash late, but we should see a host of drivers making a stop here because we feel like they cannot go the distance.
Yeah, a lot of times if you need enough gas in order to be in the same window as you can put 2 tires on, you'll go ahead and put 2 tires on just to be safe.
And make sure you get enough gas in it, not only to get to the end of the race, but should the caution come out and we have an overtime, you want to be prepared for that as well. Reddick's gaining here, but all of it likely a moot point if the caution doesn't come out because of where they are in regard to fuel mileage. There's the 23 of John Hunter Nemechek. And look at this. Jeremy Clements is sitting idle on the pit road. I'm guessing maybe ran out of fuel, do you think, coming down to make his stop?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but if he ran out of fuel, he's probably trying to get the fuel back in that system in order to get it refired. They're very, very hard to restart once you run them dry.
12 to go, and this will be interesting.
The 2 cars found some speed on the top right here. He's moved way up the track in both ends, especially down here in 1 and 2. I've been noticing some gap.
And there's the caution.
Pit road, caution. Safe fuel, please. Safe fuel. Safe fuel hard. Let the pace car get you here.
You can see someone's heart break in there.
Oh, absolutely.
We've seen this so many times this year where we get a long green flag run in the final stage only to get a caution late and then some serious restarts.
What do you think here, Austin? 98, 21, 81 stay out?
That's a lot of time on tires. There is a chance. I mean, it depends on how many stay out, I feel like, but you need some laps to count down under caution. This 51's not going to take long to get off pit road here once they push him off.
Safe. Justin, you got to save all you can. Stay on the flat. Get on the flat and save. Keep the box loaded, stay on the flat. Keep the box loaded, stay on the flat.
Now he's saving so he can have enough fuel to make his pit stop, or saving so he can go to the end? What do you think that means here? Because he last pitted at 128. We thought he would definitely have to come. Are they thinking this caution will be the difference in them being able to make it?
I would say no, because they're telling him to get on the flat, and the message was obviously really clear right there.
Yeah.
That message was delivered clearly, but they want him to get on the flat so that the fuel will be not going away from the pickup box in the fuel cell. So they tell us to get on the apron of the racetrack to keep that fuel in the fuel pickup.
And that's Nick Harrison on the radio. He gets fired up real easily, and he's just pumped right now because he has a shot if he can get to pit road to have great track position here for the end of the race. I wonder, I'm definitely going to see some 2 tires here. You might see a fuel only for some of these guys up here just to get the fuel and take the track position. We saw what Ryan Sieg was able to do with track position. Maybe fuel only here, just enough to get you to the end. No tires?
Yeah, I think 2 tires is probably all you can afford to put on right here.
And we're going to have a lot of imbalance in regard to tires, whether you get 2, you go fuel only, or those that stay out. We'll find out right now, Jamie.
Justin Allgaier comes in. He was 4th here, as quick as possible. Right sides a tear off, get as much fuel. They're talking about this being a 7 to 8 lap qualifier shootout, Regan.
Well, as we see him come down the pit lane, the 18 car on our right of your screen, Kyle Busch. It's going to be fuel only for him. His race car has no right rear grip. The 2 car of Tyler Reddick, a debate of whether to stay out or not. They determined they had to pit for fuel only.
And it's Kyle Busch who goes fuel only and wins the race off pit road over Tyler Reddick, who did the same. Bell gets 2 tires and drops to 3rd coming off of pit road. And I did see that Chase Briscoe, who we felt like might be able to make it, came down and got a stop.
Yeah, and those guys must have been worried about fuel because after seeing all these guys put no tires on, you know, that would have put them in a pretty good position, but they obviously felt like they were closer on fuel than they probably wanted to be.
The 18 was really aggressive on his pit road speeds all the way down here, got in his box well, splashed of fuel, and was able to beat him off pit road.
Kyle's only led 23 laps today and was not in position to win this thing. And now the caution comes out. They have the execution on pit road. and give a call to Ben Bayshore. I mean, this is a rookie crew chief that has to make that decision and tell him when to go. And he's been able to put his driver in a great spot here. Going to be 7 or 8 laps remaining when we go back green, and anything's likely to happen with a restart here at Texas.
Yeah, and I feel like his driver helped put him in a good position right there with being really aggressive on pit road, pulling right up behind the 2-car, although almost up to his left rear tire before he got into the pit box to be able to gain some time there. So they did a good job with fuel only in the pit stop, but their driver helped him out right there too.
Whose car is going to handle the best on old tires with more fuel back in the front? The 18 hasn't been able to take off well all day, but with all the fuel load out, light fuel load, maybe
and hot tires.
Hot tires, yep. It could definitely change, and that's who's going to win the race, who can handle the best right here on this restart.
This just reminds me so much of Las Vegas. We get a late caution, they pit, and who's at the front? Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. It's the same trio.
Yeah, and for me, this has been the most fun race to watch this year from the booth. So if it's as good as that one or better at the end here, it's going to be pretty exciting.
That's got to say good things about you if this is Harvick's favorite race from the booth since you're here,
Works
Austin.
good together.
Yeah.
Who am I taking? Well, you know, this won't be the fan vote, but Kyle Busch leading with this many laps to go, I'd put my money on the 18, I think.
I'm going with my guy T-Red, man. He's been aggressive all day. Hopefully he's got the fuel and the tires to do it.
Regan?
Well, hey, we got a report that 20 car did take right side tires, so they had a little bit of a conversation about how that was going to help him right now. Watch out for that possibly helping him.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the most aggressive restart that we've seen all day. And we talk about T-Red up there starting second. You know, I think he is going to use the side draft as much as we've seen it used all day. And he's going to try, if he can launch well and use that side draft, he's going to use it in the corner this time as well.
They're those right side tires.
The third position's not a bad place to be. Seabell came from third to the lead on that one spot. That's not a bad place to be here, especially when the first 2 guys are side drafted, really worried about each other. You get a huge run into 3, you can take the lead from both of them.
Yeah, and the other thing that could happen when you get to turn 1 that's very possible with the aggressive side drafting is if Tyler Reddick lays on the 18's door and the 18 gets loose, there's a good possibility that Christopher Bell could drive right by them both when they go up the racetrack.
Man, I'm excited. This
I am
is
too.
great.
Look at the first 2 rows. A pair of drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing and 2 from RCR. That's pretty cool.
Kaz Growler right here can give the 2 a great push here. It's 2 teammates on both of them, so that's great to see whose power and push, the ability to make that push to get the guy to the front.
I feel like some of it's going to come down to that launch, though.
Yes.
Because nobody's, I mean, the tires are old, and not spin those tires.
We also saw the 18 push the 2 through 1 and 2 one time and get him loose, so 20 couldn't take that same route.
Yeah.
Chase Briscoe came down pit road even though they thought maybe they could make it on fuel. Good execution by them. He'll restart 5th. Jeff Burton is 6th. Haley, Allgaier, Cindric, Annette, the rest of the top 10. There'll be 6 laps to go when we return to the green flag. Who's it going to be? Time to find out here in Texas.
Alright, pace cars on you. On him. 21 up tight. 5-way. Ready. 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 Green, green, green.
Came down to the launch.
Yes,
and the 18 launched better than the 2.
5 play left. Goodbye, 5.
Yeah, he was shot out of a cannon. 5 remaining for Kyle Busch.
Take your marks now.
I promise you, Reddick's not going to go away, though. And Reddick moving up, trying to find that speed and grip.
Mike's
Contact.
Another shot at this.
Kaz Grala in the wall. No caution yet. 4 remaining this time around.
Ooh.
Josh Bilicki in the 93.
Evasive maneuver.
Oh, yeah.
down kind of lures you into trying to stay in the gas, and all of a sudden you kind of get out of the sticky part of the traction compound and it loses the nose, and I think that's probably what happened to Kaz right there. Well, we talked earlier about details and doing the little things right. And I know a lot of people wonder why Kyle Busch wins a lot of races that he shouldn't win, and it comes down to the details. And this boiled down to what he did on pit road and putting himself in a position to be the leader on the restart. And what he did on pit road put him in that position, and then he did the details of launching on that restart and getting ahead of the guy on the outside of him and not having anything but clean track in front of him now.
You're exactly right. It always comes down to the details. You saw it on pit road. He maximized his pit road speed. They used the least amount of time on pit road and was able to get the clean air he needed, and the launch was great.
This is his 14th NASCAR start of the year. It would be his 9th victory. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Well, he's not just your average driver, Adam. I can tell you that. He's one of the greatest that's ever sat in the seat.
And tomorrow he'll try to sweep the weekend
Still 10 back. Somebody checkers.
for the 3rd time when it comes to winning at all 3 series. Did it twice at Bristol. Won last night in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series race. And as he comes off turn 4, he's going to get his 95th career win in the Xfinity Series. Kyle Busch does it at Texas.
Woo! Way to go, man. That long. Good man.
3rd win of the year for Kyle Busch. Reddick, Bell, Briscoe, Burton, the top 5. Post-race reaction is next. Casual as he gets set to get it done for the Phillies. And speaking of getting it done, Kyle Busch delivered late in the Xfinity Series once again. Here are the drivers that finished in the top 4 positions as far as series regulars, and will go for an additional $100,000 next weekend at Bristol via the Dash for Cash. Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, and Michael Annett. 2nd straight top 5 for Chase. Jamie?
And Christopher Bell led the most laps today, 129. You bring it home 3rd. You just saw Kyle go by. Where was he just a little bit better than you and Tyler?
He wasn't better than us anywhere. He just had track position there. And I don't know, I was really starting to struggle there on that long run. So whenever they said we were putting 2 tires on, I was all for it. And then I didn't get any better, and those guys didn't slow down. So very disappointing day, but we're in the Dash for Cash, so that's really cool. My goal was to make sure that we were the top 4 Xfinity guys. So very frustrating to lose one like that, but really proud of this team. This Rude Supra was extremely fast and one of the class of the field.
Home track for Christopher Bell. Regan.
Well, Kyle Busch just pulls into victory lane for the 95th time in his Xfinity Series career. This one he had to work for, though. It took a while to get this car out front. The big grin for Kyle. Kyle, 95 times now you've pulled into victory lane in the Xfinity Series. This one took a lot of work, though. What did you have to do to finally get this car out front at the end of that race?
Well, not taking any tires was certainly a help. We jumped the field there, and I was worried about the restart. I just didn't think there was going to be enough grip, but this car certainly had enough grip in it. So can't thank IK9, the First Foundation. This Toyota Supra was awesome today. It was really fast on the long run. I could just never get people away from me on the front side of the run to just settle into my rhythm, settle into my run, and to be able to go. Every time I got to the outside, people would just drive by me on the bottom, and then I'd get to the inside, and then somebody would bust it on the outside on me and make me loose, you know. So we were just all over the place. But certainly a fast race car once I could get rolling. But overall, Christopher Bell ran a great race. He should have won this thing today. But I want to thank the fans, everybody, for coming out and supporting the Xfinity Series and what we do here. And thank Monster Energy, Cessna, DVX Eyewear, and Black Clover. That's it.
Kyle Busch wins at Texas.
Yeah, for Kyle, it's his 9th win at this place. He has multiple victories at 18 different tracks when it comes to the Xfinity Series. Final thoughts from you guys today?
To me, it's just the details of what Kyle Busch does on a week-to-week basis, and it just never gets lax. He gets into the pit box, out of the pit box, does the restarts, and just never gives up and winds up in victory lane on days when he shouldn't.
Yeah, for me, it's the battle that we see shaping up between the series regulars. You got Seabell and T-Red really going out there each and every weekend. Look like the competition to beat right now.
Kyle Busch starts 16th tomorrow, going for the sweep. What do you two think about 500 miles on a Sunday afternoon?
I think it's going to be wild based on practice. There's a lot of drafting and a lot of options for grip.
It's going to be aggressive. Can't wait to see it.
Our coverage begins 1:30 Eastern.